Chapter 567. The Azure Mountain in December was extremely cold. The mountain was sealed today, and there were no tourists. The car was stopped at the foot of the mountain, but the car of Xiao Chen and the others was allowed to pass. The Taoist guarding was the disciple named Mo Ji that Xiao Chen met last time. Xiao Shanren, you are here? Master has been waiting on the mountain for a long time. Mo Ji said with a smile. Don't talk nonsense with me. Lead the way. Xiao Chen said directly. Yes. Mo Ji wanted to get in the car, but when he looked, he realized that there was no place to sit in the car. It was not good for him to squeeze into the back seat with the two girls. He turned his head to look at the second car. Song Huawu drove a sports car today. There were only 2 seats, and there was no room for a third person to sit. Where should I sit? Mo Ji asked. Aya, you still want to take the car? You can run with the car. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, he started the car, leaving behind a trail of smoke. Song Huawu also drove past, and Mo Ji choked on the exhaust. He couldn't help but be annoyed. Let's see how Master will deal with you later. When the car couldn't go any higher, Xiao Chen parked the car in the parking lot, but he didn't see Daoist Lu Li and the others. He couldn't help but be a little impatient. Are these guys not here yet? So he sat in the car and waited. After a while, Mo Ji came up panting, but Daoist Lu Li still didn't come down. He couldn't help but be annoyed and asked Mo Ji, where is your master? My master is up there, at the entrance of the Tianqing temple. Mo Ji said, Xiao Shanren will see him if you bring someone up. I still have to bring someone to climb up. Xiao Chen was stunned. This Daoist Lu Li really had a good plan. If he were to climb up, not only would it be a waste of physical strength, but it would also be very torturous. Isn't this a way to weaken my strength? Yes, we agreed to fight at the Tianqing temple. Mo Ji nodded. Tell your master to ask him to come down. Xiao Chen glanced at Mo Ji from the corner of his eyes. He shook his legs and said, tell him that my patience is limited. He knows it. This. Mo Ji thought about it and called Taoist Lu Li. She said, Master, philanthropist Xiao Chang has brought people here, but they are in the parking lot below. He wants you to come down. Give the phone to Xiao Chang, said Taoist Lu Li. Xiao Chen, my master wants you to answer the phone, Mo Ji said as she passed the phone to Xiao Chen. Lu Li, hurry up and come down. You know my patience. Xiao Chen took the phone and said directly before Taoist Lu Li could speak. Little friend Xiao Chang, we have agreed to fight at Heavenly Clarity Temple, so you should come up. Taoist Lu Li said unhurriedly, as a martial artist, you have to keep your promise. Oh, then forget it, Xiao Chen said directly and then returned the phone to Mo Ji. Forget it? Taoist Lu Li thought that Xiao Chen had agreed to come up, but he did not expect Mo Ji to say, Master, it's not good. Xiao Shanren is in the car. He started the car and seems to be leaving. Aya, damn it, he really dares to leave. Taoist Lu Li was shocked. Stop him and tell him that I will go over immediately. Aya, damn it, this little guy is too mean. He is too immoral. Xiao Shanren, don't go. My master will come down soon. Mo Ji quickly blocked in front of Xiao Chen's car and said. Oh, I was waiting for someone outside. It was a little cold, so I started the car and turned on the heater. I didn't say that I was leaving. Xiao Chen looked at Mo Ji inexplicably. Mo Ji was speechless. Taoist Lu Li also heard it on the phone and knew that he had been tricked. Mo Ji, tell him that I won't go. Let him come up. Taoist Lu Li regained his confidence. Xiao Shanren, my master said that he won't come down, Mo Ji said again. Oh, then I'm going back. Xiao Chen put the car in gear and prepared to leave. Master, he is really leaving this time. Mo Ji was shocked and said quickly. Aya, damn it. I'd better go down. This little guy is too mean. Daoist Luli had no choice but to say. Xiao Shanren, my master said that he will come down. Mo Ji said quickly. You should have said so earlier. Don't waste my gas. Xiao Chen didn't leave again. Mo Ji breathed a sigh of relief and thought that this task was really hard to do. If Xiao Chen really left, she would probably be scolded to death. After a while, a group of people came down from the stone steps. The leader was Daoist Luli. However, behind Daoist Luli, there was an old Daoist, but at a glance, he wasn't Daoist Luli's disciple. From the way he dressed, he should be Daoist Luli's elder. This made Xiao Chen feel a little strange. Could it be that there were other masters in Tianqing Temple? Behind them was Kai Lehu and a young man who looked similar to Kai Lehu. The rest were a Japanese and the female ninja. After a few people came down, Xiao Chen got out of the car slowly and greeted them. Aya, isn't this Daoist Luli? I'm really sorry to let you guys come down to welcome me. Although Xiao Chen said that he was sorry, he didn't feel embarrassed at all. He chewed the bubble gum in his mouth, shook his legs, and squinted his eyes like a hedonistic young master. Aya, boss, you haven't practiced for a few years. Now, you're really good at pretending to be a hedonistic young master. Wang Fantian exclaimed. That's right. Xiao Chen nodded and then lowered his voice. In a while, see if you can take down one or two of them when they're unprepared. These people's standards aren't low. We don't have to talk about the rules with them. Don't worry, boss. I didn't want to talk about it. Wang Fantian nodded. Ahem, little friend Xiao Chang, are you here to fight? Then let's talk about the rules. Daoist Luli coughed twice and said. Go ahead. Xiao Chen nodded. The rules are that we'll fight as a group. All of us can fight together, and your people can also fight together. In the end, when one side falls down or admits defeat, the other side wins. What do you think? Daoist Luli asked. That's a good idea. Xiao Chen nodded. If I win, I'll take Su Chuxia's grandparents away. If I lose, I won't take them away. No, if you lose, you have to agree to our previous conditions and help us get Dr. Su's research materials. I don't care how you get them, whether you steal or rob. Anyway, as long as you get the materials, it's fine, Daoist Luli said. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen lied to him. Anyway, if he lost, he would think of other ways. Okay, it's a deal. Daoist Luli said, according to the rules of the martial arts world, firearms are not allowed to be used during the competition. Otherwise, it will be considered as voluntary surrender. What? I can't use weapons? Xiao Chen was stunned. This Daoist Luli was quite prophetic. He knew that I might use weapons? Of course not. If firearms are used, then what's the point of competing? Whoever has the most advanced weapon wins. If you get a rocket launcher, the Tianqing monastery will be finished, Daoist Luli said. Xiao Chen frowned. He couldn't say that what Daoist Luli said was unreasonable. This was the truth. When Xiao Chen and Yang Tan fought, there were no martial arts rules at all, but now, the rules are like this. I didn't say this. I believe the two people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau behind you also know this, right? Daoist Luli could see from the pass on the windshield of the car that Song Huawu's car belonged to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. He could argue with Daoist Luli on unimportant matters, such as going down the mountain, but this kind of rule could not be argued. Even if he said that he would die, Daoist Luli would not agree to them using firearms. That thing could only be used in emergencies. It was fine to use it when life was in danger, but that was when they had a falling out. In that case, let's fight. Daoist Luli asked, what kind of battles do you have on your side? Okay, let's fight. Xiao Chen nodded and said, on my side, except for Su Chuxia and Tian Shoushou, everyone else can fight. However, can we not fight to the death? Of course. If someone dies, it will not be good for my Tianqing monastery. Taoist Luli nodded, but before he finished speaking, a large millstone suddenly flew over from nowhere. With a loud bang, it directly hit him on the head. Taoist Luli felt dizzy and fell to the ground in a daze. He cursed, "Aya, f*ck, you guys are sneaking up on me." Wang Fengtian was wandering around the area just now and found a stone statue with a millstone on it. He removed it and hid at the side. While Taoist Luli was not paying attention, he directly hit his head. Wang Fengtian ran over, jumped, and stepped on Taoist Luli's body. Everyone was caught off guard and stunned. He jumped up and down like he was playing on a trampoline. He stepped on Taoist Luli until blood bubbled at the corner of his mouth. He almost rolled his eyes. The Taoist priest not far behind Taoist Luli changed his expression. "Kid, you're courting death." As he said that, he pulled out a soft sword from his waist and stabbed it at Wang Fengtian. Looking at his red eyes, it seemed like he wanted to stab Wang Fengtian to death. However, Wang Fengtian's reaction wasn't slow either. He chuckled and picked up the millstone on the ground. He raised it in front of him and with a "kacha" sound, the flexible sword stabbed into the millstone. It couldn't hurt Wang Fengtian at all. "Aya, your attack is too fierce. I can't hold it." As soon as Wang Fengtian let go, the millstone fell with a clang and directly hit Taoist Luli's body. Pfft! Taoist Luli spat out a mouthful of blood, and his eyeballs protruded. Even if he did not die, he was smashed to internal injuries and directly lost the ability to fight. "Stop! Are you playing dirty?" The old Taoist was a little exasperated. "Are you playing a sneak attack? I say, old cow, are you stupid?" Just now, it was Taoist Luli who said, "In that case, let's fight." Then I said, "Okay, let's fight." Then, my companion went up to hit him. How is this a sneak attack? Are you a sore loser and want to be a rascal? Xiao Chen said matter-of-factly. Chapter 568. Good, very good. The old Taoist priest was furious. "Luli said that you are as cunning as a fox, but I didn't believe it. Now that I see it, you really are a cunning person. So what? Are we still going to fight?" Xiao Chen shrugged indifferently. His other identity was White Fox. Cunning as a fox? This was a name tailor-made for him. Fight, but no sneak attacks. Fight fair and square. The old Taoist priest said angrily, "Do you dare?" However, just as the old Taoist priest finished speaking, there was a sudden, "ow" sound. Kai Lehu covered his crotch and lay on the ground, rolling on the ground in cold sweat. You sneak attacked again?" The old Taoist priest was about to explode. "Do you still care about the rules of the pugilistic world? You dare to use weapons?" Kai Wujin was furious when he saw his father rolling on the ground from the sneak attack. The aura of a martial artist on his body surged, and his killing intent was revealed in an instant. "Didn't you say that firearms can't be used?" "I used a cold one." Wang Fengtian chuckled and looked at the slingshot in his hand innocently. "I didn't expect this thing to be so useful." Pfft. Ha ha ha. Not far away, Tian Wangshuo was so happy that he was convulsing. Where did Xiao Cheng get such a top-notch underling? He was really speechless. He was too top-notch. Xiao Chen glanced at Wang Fengtian and was speechless. Could Wang Fengtian's slingshot be compared to an ordinary slingshot? The string on his slingshot was quite tight. Most people wouldn't be able to pull it, but Wang Bangtian had infinite strength. Naturally, it didn't matter. In this way, the stones shot out from his slingshot were not like cannonballs, but they weren't any worse than the ancient divine bows that could shoot arrows with great accuracy. Kai Lehu was beaten up. Obviously, he was going to suffer. Su Chuxia was also a little speechless. Xiao Chen's underling was so despicable, but she didn't sympathize with him. Who asked these people to be so evil? When everyone saw that it was just a slingshot, the old Taoist priest was speechless. After all, firearms couldn't be used, but this kind of slingshot couldn't be used. However, which martial arts competition would use such a rubbish thing? This thing could actually beat Kai Lehu half to death. The old Taoist was really speechless. Even if he used a slingshot, it was still considered a cold weapon. He still used a flexible sword, so he couldn't be compared to others. Kai Wujin's face also changed slightly. It was really hard to say anything about this. He could only say with a stern face, "Stop talking nonsense with them. Let's go together and cripple them. Hua Wu, Xia Shibin, you two keep those two Japanese occupied. I'll deal with this old Daoist and that Kai guy." Xiao Chen said. "Yes." Song Hua Wu and Xia Shibin responded. Xiao Chen glanced at Wang Fantian. He didn't know where Wang Fantian had gotten his hands on two huge metal poles from the parking lot. These things were extremely heavy, and they were usually placed in between the roads to serve as a barrier. Wang Fantian held one in each of his hands, and with a whooshing sound, he slashed at the old Taoist priest. "Boorish fellow. I'm so angry. How did I meet a boorish fellow like you?" The old Taoist priest saw Wang Fantian running over as if he didn't care about his life. He was shocked. His weapon was a flexible sword, but he could only retreat when he met this kind of hammer. His sword was completely useless. Before he could stab, the huge metal pole came smashing at his head. The old Taoist priest could only dodge back and forth. "Can anyone help me? This boorish fellow is too boorish." The old Taoist flew into a rage. This was the first time he had met such a person. Looking at his strength, he was clearly not even a first-layer martial artist, but the strength he exerted was even greater than a martial master. The key point was that even a martial master would not be able to carry this heavy iron lump around without getting tired. Yet, this brat was still running so fast. "Let me help you." Naishima Kikufu and Ling Qinxue were forcing Song Hua Wu and Xia Shibin to retreat. At this time, seeing that the old Taoist priest was in such a difficult situation, he had to help. After all, if another person on his side fell, the chances of winning would be even lower. Now, it was a situation where everyone was hurt. Bang! There was a loud noise. Naishima Kikufu had just responded when he felt a splitting pain in the back of his head. The loud noise just now was caused by Wang Fantian throwing out an iron pole, which directly hit the back of Naishima Kikufu's head. Naishima Kikufu felt as if he had been hit by a meteorite. He was dizzy, in pain, and a little nauseous. These were the signs of a concussion. He walked around in circles, then directly lay on the ground and vomited. After a few vomits, he fainted. "Aya, I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. It's your head now." Wang Fantian smiled and stared at his hand in embarrassment. Xiao Chen smiled. This Wang Fantian was really a talent now. Although he looked like a reckless man, he was actually not. Naishima Kikufu had just responded to the old Taoist priest's request to help. At the same time, he had to go to Song Hua Wu and Xia Shibin's side. Hence, he was caught off guard. Wang Fantian seized this opportunity and hit him with the iron pole. "Kid, you're asking for it." The old Taoist priest did not expect that the main team member this time would be this reckless man. For this competition, he had specially made a fireproof suit overnight, so he was not afraid of Xiao Chen's fireball technique. However, he did not even get to use it. He was caught off guard by this reckless man. In fact, in retrospect, this Wang Fantian was not very powerful. If they had been on guard from the beginning, then a group of people would have attacked him together and taken him down. Now, this kid had sneak attacked 3 masters in a row. Wayayaya. "Kid, go to hell. You forced me to use my ultimate move." The old Taoist priest was anxious. Because of Naishima Kikufu, the pressure on Song Hua Wu and Xia Shibin was greatly reduced. Although the two of them were still no match for Ling Qinxue, they could fight to a draw. After saying that, the old Taoist priest threw the soft sword away and clasped his index fingers together. A sharp sword chi shot out from between his fingers and hit Wang Fantian not far away. This old Taoist priest is awesome. Wang Fantian was not really reckless. This sword chi was obviously very powerful. He did not dare to take it head-on and kept retreating to avoid it. Xiao Chen's expression also changed. At this moment, he was fighting with Kai Wujin. Both of them were testing each other and had not really started fighting. However, in Xiao Chen's opinion, the strength that the old Taoist priest had displayed was at least the strength of a stage 3 or stage 4 martial master. He was not on the same level as Kai Wujin, who was only at stage 1. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen shouted, "Fantian, you deal with Kai. I'll deal with this cow nose." Okay. Wang Fantian also knew that he was no match for the old Taoist priest. He did not want to be entangled. He turned around and ran in the direction of Kai Wujin. The old Taoist priest heaved a sigh of relief. He would rather face Xiao Chen than Wang Fantian. At least he could defend against Xiao Chen's martial arts. This reckless man had no idea what kind of stupid moves he would make. However, just as he was feeling happy, he felt a sharp aura piercing through the air. Then, Wang Fantian shouted, "F***CKU, old bastard, whoosh." Wang Fantian smashed the remaining iron pole in his hand towards the old Taoist priest. The old Taoist priest was shocked and quickly dodged. However, Xiao Chen threw a fireball at the dodging old Taoist priest. Lu Li was right. "You little bastard, you are too cunning. You like to sneak attack." The old Taoist priest was infuriated. "To think that I, your Taoist grandpa, refined a fire-resistant suit. Ha ha ha, it's useless now, isn't it?" Seeing the fireball smashing into his body, the old Taoist laughed complacently. He looked at Xiao Chen with disdain. "Your ultimate move is finished this time, it has no effect on me. Although you are cunning, you are still too inexperienced. Don't you know that the same move can only be used once against a high-level cultivator?" "Oh, you are right." Xiao Chen nodded. However, he was shocked. This old thing knew how to refine a fire-resistant suit. This was the Samadhi True Fire. A normal fire-resistant suit would be ineffective. Obviously, he added something to it to guard against him. There were weapons everywhere in the parking lot, and Wang Biantian was extremely handy with them. He threw out the metal pole and casually picked up a stone ball with an iron chain. With a whirring sound, he swung it towards Kai Wujin. Reckless. Reckless. Kai Wujin didn't dare to face it head-on. He kept retreating. If the stone ball hit his head, even if he didn't die, he would suffer a concussion. Even if he was a martial master, he didn't dare to try it. Right now, none of the people on the other side dared to go head-on against Wang Fantian. This brat was a tiger. He could pick up anything and use it as a weapon. If this car wasn't driven by Xiao Chen and the others, he would probably be able to lift it up and smash it for fun. Kai Wujin was very annoyed. Even if he had all kinds of martial arts, he couldn't get close to Wang Fantian. This meant that he couldn't hit Wang Fantian. Although Wang Fantian couldn't hit Kai Wujin in a short period of time, the two of them couldn't do anything to each other. Kai Wujin wasn't a demonic cultivator. Although he was a martial master and had inner strength, he couldn't use his moves through the air. He had to hit the opponent's body to be effective. However, he couldn't even touch the corner of Wang Fantian's clothes. He couldn't even get half a meter away from Wang Fantian. "Come on. Kai. What's your name?" "But that's not important. I don't want to not know. My boss called you Kai something. Let's use this name then." Wang Fantian laughed. "Kai something. Come on. Why are you hiding? Do you dare to come over? Do you dare to put down that stone ball?" Kai Wujin was so angry that his teeth itched. However, he had no other choice but to move forward. Hee hee. Wang Fangtian smiled, and the big stone ball in his hand spun even faster. It was like a spiral on top of his head. Whoosh whoosh, it was very scary. Suddenly, a slight "kacha" sound could be heard. The big stone ball suddenly broke free from the iron chain and was directly thrown out. It turned out that the stone ball was too heavy. The iron chain embedded in it couldn't support the weight for a long time. After a while, the stone ball broke free. Luckily I reacted fast. The old Taoist was fighting with Xiao Chen. Suddenly, he felt a cold wind behind his head. He turned around and saw a big stone ball coming at him. Chapter 569. The old Taoist was furious. You are such a boorish man. You didn't attack others, but you purposely made things difficult for me. You attacked my disciple, Lu Li, and now you want to attack me. You are really immoral. However, since he had already discovered it, how could he let Wang Fangtian have his way? He quickly prepared to retreat, wanting to avoid the whizzing stone balls. However, the next moment, he felt his body stiffen. It was as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. He was frozen into a block of ice and couldn't move. Oh no, I was tricked. It must be that bastard Xiao Chang. Old Taoist, you are right. I shouldn't have used the same trick so many times. This time, I changed it. How is it? Does it feel good to be a popsicle? Xiao Chen chuckled. He changed the fireball technique to the ice ball technique. Boom! Before the old Taoist could answer, he was hit by the big stone ball. His head buzzed and he tumbled. However, his cultivation was profound and Lu Li couldn't compare to him. Although he was hit by the big stone ball, he felt bad after being frozen. He quickly used his cultivation to protect his body, so he didn't get hurt. Even so, he felt that his head was in a mess and his combat power was reduced. You tricked me. The old Taoist climbed up from the ground in exasperation. The reason why he dared to turn his back to Xiao Chen was because Xiao Chen's fireball technique was useless against him. Not only did he wear a fireproof suit, but he also set up a fireproof array around his body and head. Therefore, he wasn't afraid of Xiao Chen's fireball technique at all. Who knew that Xiao Chen would change it to the ice ball technique? Fortunately, his skull was very hard. The boulder and the ice on his body shattered into pieces and fell to the ground. Other than a big bump on the old Taoist's head, there was also a wound. It was very frightening to see blood spurting out of it. Who tricked you? Xiao Chen asked. This. The old Taoist thought about it and was speechless. Indeed, Xiao Chen didn't trick him. He was the one who asked Xiao Chen to change his move. It was just that Xiao Chen changed it at the right time. At the thought of this, the old Taoist pointed at Wang Fangtian, who had changed his weapon. Brute, you tricked me. Who's scamming you? The quality of the things in your parking lot is too low. Ox nose, your own things are not good, and you're blaming me for spoiling them? Wang Fangtian chuckled. His hand turned into an iron rod used to block cars in the parking lot. He held it in his hand like Sun Wukong's golden cudgel and swung it back and forth. Kai Wujin couldn't be bothered to lower himself to the same level as this person. This person's fighting style was completely boorish and powerful. There was really no way to use martial arts rules to spar with this kind of person. Here comes the ice ball again. As Xiao Chen roared, the old Taoist priest's body tensed up. He subconsciously looked at Xiao Chen and was about to dodge. But who would have thought that Xiao Chen would throw an ice ball at Kai Wujin? He had quietly approached Kai Wujin just now, so the ice ball hit Kai Wujin. If he wasn't wrong, Kai Wujin shouldn't be afraid of the fireball, so Xiao Chen directly used the ice ball. Kai Wujin was shocked. He thought that Xiao Chen was talking to the old Taoist priest, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Who would have thought that he would be hit again? This wasn't following the rules at all. His body was frozen, but he wasn't as strong as the old Taoist priest, so he couldn't break free for a while. He couldn't help but roar, "Aren't you fighting with Daoist Taishan?" Why are you hitting me again? Didn't you say mixed team battles? Doesn't that mean that we can have a chaotic battle? Xiao Chen asked. You're not following the rules. Before Kai Wujin could finish his sentence, Wang Fontian's stick hit his head. This guy was hit so hard that he was seeing stars. Before he could react, the stick hit him again. Kai Wujin fell to the ground with resentment, unconscious. Boss, I'm here to help you. Wang Fantian rushed over after dealing with Kai Wujin. Xiao Chen nodded and glanced at Song Huawu and Xia Shibin. The two of them were showing signs of losing and couldn't hold on any longer. That female ninja was a martial master, so it wasn't a problem for her to suppress Song Huawu and Xia Shibin. Seeing that the two of them were injured to different degrees, Xiao Chen shouted, Huawu, Xia Shibin, step down. I'll do it. Humph, lecher. The female ninja looked at Xiao Chen and gritted her teeth. How am I a lecher? Xiao Chen asked. You know what you've done. The woman snorted coldly. Seeing Xiao Chen coming over, her fighting spirit was even stronger. She held a katana in her hand, which was shining coldly. It was much more awe-inspiring than the dagger last time. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. Naturally, he thought of the time when he accidentally grabbed the wrong cat, but he really didn't mean it. He could only say, I think you're working for Yi Dao or something, right? He's dead now. Repent and don't be a ninja in the future. It's so boring. Look at those little girls nowadays. They live so freely every day. You're too boring. Don't slander Lord Yi Dao. Lord Yi Dao won't die. Ling Qinxue said angrily, I'll kill you first. What's your name? Xiao Chen suddenly asked. Ling Qinxue was stunned. Then she snorted and said, Why do you ask this? Nothing. I feel that you're very similar to someone I know. Xiao Chen said. Who? Ling Qinxue asked. A classmate of mine. Xiao Chen said. Your classmate? Ling Qinxue was stunned. Well, tell me your name first. Xiao Chen nodded. I'll kill you. Before you die, I'll tell you. Otherwise, you won't know who killed you. Ling Qinxue waved the katana and rushed toward Xiao Chen. Although Ling Qinxue was a martial master, she was a bladesman. Her bladesmanship was very strange. It dazzled Xiao Chen. It was very beautiful and gorgeous, with a fierce murderous intent. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and dodged. He didn't know why, but he didn't really want to hurt this female ninja. He couldn't explain the reason, but he had a feeling in his heart. Could it be because he touched her? It shouldn't be. I don't want to kill you. Xiao Chen said, now, you should know who is left on your side. If you don't want to humiliate yourself, then stop. Humph, you're still so stubborn even when you're about to die. It's useless to threaten me. Ling Qinxue said. Really? Useless? Huawu, Shibin, you guys go kill that Night Island guy. Xiao Chen said. Yes. Song Huawu and Xia Shibin responded and were about to kill him. Anyway, Night Island Kizuo was already lying on the ground and couldn't get up. You're despicable. Ling Qinxue stared at Xiao Chen with her big eyes. There was anger and killing intent in them. How dare you threaten me? Aren't you not afraid of threats? Xiao Chen asked. You. Ling Qinxue was so angry that her chest heaved up and down. She couldn't speak. She had never seen such a shameless person. However, she didn't dare to act rashly. She could see that Xiao Chen's group didn't fight according to the rules at all. Therefore, it was not impossible for Xiao Chen to let those two people kill Night Island Kizuo. On the contrary, it was very likely. Thinking of this, Ling Qinxue finally stopped her attack and said angrily, What do you want? Nothing, I just want to ask what your name is. Xiao Chen asked. You want to know my name so badly? Ling Qinxue stared at Xiao Chen and said coldly, Do you know that according to the rules of the Sakura group, if the enemy knows my name, what will be the consequences? What consequences? Xiao Chen asked. Either I kill you, or you kill me. We won't stop until one of us is dead. Ling Qinxue looked at Xiao Chen and said word by word. AI. Xiao Chen sighed after hearing this. Now, you don't want to kill me? When have you ever given up on killing me? This? Ling Qinxue was instantly stunned. Indeed, she had always wanted to kill Xiao Chen, so whether she told him or not, there was no difference. Heh. You're right, I'm called Ling Qinxue. Ling Qinxue? Really? Xiao Chen looked at the female ninja in front of him in astonishment. Was it really her? But, why didn't she know him? She had already told him her name. There was no need to pretend anymore. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen couldn't help but ask, are you really Ling Qinxue? Why would I lie to you? Are you worth lying to? Ling Qinxue said coldly, well, I told you my name. You can ask your men to let go of Lord Night Island, and we can have a fair fight. Wait, one more thing. Can you take off your mask and let me see? Xiao Chen waved his hand and continued to ask. Take it off? Ling Qinxue was a little stunned. Then she looked at Xiao Chen angrily. You don't have to humiliate me like this. I asked you to take off your mask. How is that humiliating? Are you so ugly that you can't show your face? Xiao Chen asked strangely. Do you know that according to the rules of our Sakura group, if a strange man sees your face, what will happen? Ling Qinxue asked. What consequences? Xiao Chen asked. I will marry you or kill you, Ling Qinxue said. What? Don't you want to kill me? Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Since you want to kill me, why do you care so much? You can change the question. Ling Qinxue said. Well, it's a pity that such a good name turned out to be ugly. Xiao Chen saw that Ling Qinxue was about to go berserk, so he quickly said, then changed the question. Do you know that I have a classmate named Ling Qinxue? What? Ling Qinxue was stunned after hearing Xiao Chen's words. She frowned and said, which Ling Qinxue? Ling as in fierce, Qinxue as in thousands of snowflakes. Xiao Chen said. You? Classmate? Ling Qinxue? Ling Qinxue widened her eyes and looked at Xiao Chen incredulously. Her identity in the Xia Kingdom was Ling Qinxue. Chapter 570. Moreover, the reason why she did not reveal her veil to Xiao Chen was because Lord Yi Dao had asked her to get close to Xiao Chen. Today's mission was probably a failure. In the future, Ling Qinxue was going to use another identity to get close to Xiao Chen, and the other identity was Ling Qinxue. She was going to transfer to Xiao Chen's school and then secretly get close to him. However, she had not even started to get close to Xiao Chen. Why was there someone called Ling Qinxue in Xiao Chen's school? You don't know? Xiao Chen felt that Ling Qinxue did not seem to know what he was talking about. He could not help but be a little shocked. Was it true or not? Previously, he suspected that the Ling Qinxue who sat next to him was the Ling Qinxue in front of him. Although there was no evidence, it was a kind of intuition. And now, with his keen sixth senses, he also noticed that Ling Qinxue seemed to be a little surprised. What was going on? Could it be that the Ling Qinxue who sat next to him was not the ninja Ling Qinxue? Otherwise, why would she have such an expression? However, Xiao Chen felt that Ling Qinshue's astonishment should not be fake. Otherwise, she could have won the Best Actress award. Wasn't her acting a little too realistic? But this way, Xiao Chen was even more puzzled. How could there be such a coincidence in this world? You mean, you have a classmate called Ling Qinxue? Then is she from Japan? Ling Qinxue suddenly thought of something and asked Xiao Chen anxiously. I don't think so. She's from Great Xia. Xiao Chen shook his head. It seemed that this Ling Qinxue was really not that Ling Qinxue. The two of them were not the same person. He was wrong. What does that have to do with me? Ling Qianxue stared at Xiao Chen and gritted her teeth. Do you think I'm your classmate? If you're not, then so be it. It doesn't matter. Xiao Chen shrugged and turned to look not far away. Daoist Tai Shan was forced to retreat by Wang Fantian. As Daoist Tai Shan ran, he scolded, "Brute, brute, too brute." Xiao Chen casually threw out an ice ball, which directly smashed onto Daoist Tai Shan's body, causing his body to freeze for a moment. Daoist Tai Shan did not expect that while Xiao Chen was chatting with Ling Qianxue, he would still be able to sneak attack him. He was immediately hit, and then Wang Fantian ran over and laughed, "Old bastard, watch how I kill you this time." Wang Fangtian lifted Daoist Tai Shan up and pressed his head down onto the ground with all his might. Daoist Tai Shan's head was directly embedded into the cement floor, and he couldn't move at all. He was just like an inverted ice sculpture, unable to get up, unable to speak, and unable to struggle at all. Seeing that the outcome was set, Xiao Chen said to Ling Qianxue, "Do you still want to fight? Do you dare to fight me fairly?" Ling Qianxue asked. Ling Qianxue, what's wrong with your brain? Do you really think that you are my opponent in a fair fight? Xiao Chen looked at Ling Qianxue and said, "Previously, I thought that you were my classmate, so I let you have your way. If you push your luck, don't blame me for being impolite." You thought that I was your classmate? Ling Qianxue hesitated for a moment and looked at Nishima Kikuo, who was not far away. She realized that he was in a coma, so she asked, "Do I look like your classmate?" "Gosh, you didn't even take off your veil, how would I know?" Xiao Chen shrugged and said. "Then, why do you say that we look like each other?" Ling Qianxue asked back. "I don't know, intuition, body shape." Xiao Chen did not hide anything. "That classmate of mine, is she your long-lost sister?" "Humph. I will let you go today, but I will kill you sooner or later." Ling Qianxue's expression changed, and then she said, "Since you have lost, I will take my leave." After Ling Qianxue finished speaking, she quickly ran to the side of the unconscious Nishima Kikuo, carried him on her back, and quickly left the place without saying much. Xiao Chen shook his head. This Ling Qianxue was a product of brainwashing. In fact, perhaps she was not a bad person, so Xiao Chen let her go. At this moment, all the opponents had been defeated. Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshou also got out of the car and ran over. Song Huawu asked, "Captain, what do we do now?" "Pull that Daoist Tai Shan out and ask him if he admits defeat." Xiao Chen instructed Wang Fantian, then said to Su Chuxia, "Okay, I guess your grandparents will be released safely this time." Thank you, Xiao Chang." Su Chuxia saw with her own eyes how intense and dangerous the battle just now was. Although it seemed like Xiao Chen had a lot of tricks and had the upper hand, Su Chuxia knew that these people were all very powerful. None of them were mediocre. If Xiao Chen was not careful, he could be injured. On the other hand, Tian Wangshou was carefree and looked curiously at the ice sculpture of Taoist Tai Shan. "Aya, this ice sculpture is really beautiful. Don't pull it out yet, Sister Wangshou wants to take a picture with it." As she spoke, Tian Wangshou ran over and stood next to the ice sculpture. She took a selfie and posted it on her WeChat Moments with the caption, "This is the first ice sculpture in Lan City this year." Then, Wang Fantian was pulled out by Taoist Tai Shan and fell to the ground. Suddenly, ice shards fell all over the ground, and Taoist Tai Shan finally thawed. He sat on the ground and glared at Wang Fantian. "Just you wait, you brute, I will teach you a lesson sooner or later." "Hey! You old fogey, are you looking for trouble?" As he spoke, Wang Fantian picked up another metal pole. "This thing is still the best, it can't be smashed. Don't move. I admit defeat." Taoist Tai Shan was very straightforward. He knew that the situation was not in his favor. At this time, his people were all wiped out, and he was already feeling numb when facing Wang Fantian alone. If Xiao Chen joined the battle, he would definitely not be a match for them, so he might as well just admit defeat. Ox knows, you have some self-awareness. If that's the case, bring us to receive Grandpa Su and Granny Su. Xiao Chen said. No problem, you guys don't go up. I will get emoji to receive them. Taoist Tai Shan was a little afraid. These people did not play by the rules. If he let them go up the mountain, what if Xiao Chen became angry and used a fireball to set Tianqing sect on fire? Then it would be difficult to extinguish the fire. Therefore, he might as well admit defeat and let emoji go up to receive them, while he sat on the ground to heal himself. He did not speak anymore. I say, ox-nose old Daoist, instead of being a Daoist, you just had to get involved in this kind of thing. You're done for. You've been beaten up, right? Next time, be more obedient. Xiao Chen said to Taoist Taishan. I had no choice. The Daoist temple is short of money. If Xiao Shanren had donated some, it wouldn't be like this. Taoist Taishan sighed. Donate your head. Look, you want to fight with me, and I've called so many people. You have to pay me for the transportation fees. Xiao Chen said, when people lose a battle, they have to pay compensation. When are you going to pay me? We're just playing around, let's not talk about money, right? Taoist Taishan said. How can I do that? How about this, I won't ask for much. Just give me $1 million, and I'll treat these people to a meal or something. Xiao Chen said. This poor Daoist will go back and discuss it. Taoist Taishan laughed dryly. In fact, the so-called discussion was just perfunctory. In fact, he had never thought of compensating Xiao Chen. Oh, then hurry up. If I don't get the money after a long time, I'll secretly burn down your Daoist temple. I don't believe that you've also set up a fireproof formation on your Daoist temple. Xiao Chen said. You know about formations? Taoist Taishan was a little surprised. Don't talk about that. Hurry up and go back to gather the money. Xiao Chen said. Sai, burning someone's house requires legal responsibility. Taoist Taishan said. Oh, this is the grudge of the Jianghu. Oh right, Huawu, tell me, the grudges of the Jianghu of the pugilistic world, do you guys care about burning a house? Xiao Chen turned his head and asked Song Huawu. I don't care. Song Huawu said coldly. Did you hear that, Taoist Taishan? They don't care, Xiao Chen said with a shrug. Sigh. I'll go back and do some research. Taoist Taishan said with a sigh. There was no other way. A loss was a loss. Not long after, Mo came down the mountain. Another disciple from Heavenly Pure Monastery came down with him. It was unknown what Mo was, but the two of them carried Grandpa Su and Granny Su down the mountain. Grandpa, Grandma. Su Chuxia hurriedly ran over. Why did you come to Heavenly Pure Monastery? The people here are all bad people. Granny Su was stunned. How are they bad people? Taoist Luli provided us with good food and drinks. We were invited here as guests. Aya, they called you here and forced Xiao Chang to duel with them to achieve an unspeakable goal. You've been tricked. Su Chuxia explained. Are you serious? That can't be, right? I was thinking, we've been begging them for some celestial water for a few years. It's not a big deal to come and thank them. Granny Su was shocked when she heard this. It's not true. Look at this place. It's a mess. If Xiao Chang didn't win, they wouldn't have let him go. Su Chuxia said. Yes, Sour can testify. Tian Sour said. Sai, you can't judge a book by its cover. I didn't expect Taoist Luli to be so bad. Granny Su naturally believed her granddaughter, Tian Sour, even though it was a little strange. Taoist Taishan, according to the rules of Jianghu, I've won. You're not allowed to kidnap anyone from the Su family in the future. Do you hear me? Xiao Chen warned Taoist Taishan. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Let me tell you, you've seen my friends and my personalities. We're both quite fierce. One burned your monastery, and the other tore down your azure mountain. I got it. Daoist Taishan nodded. He could really tell that these two people were really ferocious. However, according to the rules of Jianghu, since Xiao Chang had won, it was indeed inappropriate for them to kidnap again. Since everyone was talking about the rules of Jianghu, they had to follow them. Otherwise, these two brats might really tear down Azure Mountain. Chapter 571. Therefore, for the safety of Tianqing Temple, Daoist Taishan had to agree. However, he was thinking about something else. Then let's go. Inform the others. If anyone tries to harm them, I will look for you first, Xiaochen threatened. Why is that? Daoist Taishan was a little depressed. Because you are easy to find. I don't know where the Tide Club and the ninjas are, so I will look for you first, Xiaochen said. Then I will tell you the address, Daoist Taishan said quickly. No need. Xiaochen waved his hand. I will look for you. Daoist Taishan finally knew why his disciple, Daoist Luli, had such a bad temper recently. He wanted to scold him now. With that, Xiaochen brought Su Chuxia's grandparents to the car. However, he realized that the car was not small. There was one more person. Daoist Taishan sneered at the side. Aren't you very capable? Let's see what you can do. One of you must run back with the car. I think Wang Fantian is the most suitable. He will run to death. However, before he could be happy for long, he saw Wang Fantian running over. He was carrying a car. Damn, that is our temple's car. Daoist Taishan finally exploded. He pointed at Wang Fantian. Put it down. Oh, I'll drive it first. You can pick it up at the foot of the mountain later. Since you kidnapped Su Chuxia's grandparents, you must know their address. I'll just park it downstairs. Wang Fantian said nonchalantly. Humph, I don't have the car key. Daoist Taishan rolled his eyes. Oh, it doesn't matter. I am best at opening locks by force. Wang Fantian said and was about to pull the door open with brute force. Damn, I remember again. I have the key. Daoist Taishan was so angry that he became a real bull's nose. Here you go. Oh, actually, even if I open the door, I can't start the fire, Wang Fantian said. Daoist Taishan felt a little annoyed and didn't want to stay any longer. He waved his hand at Moji's two disciples and said, Carry your master, let's go back to Heavenly Purity Monastery. Yes. Martial ancestor. Moji carried Daoist Luli and quickly followed Daoist Taishan up the mountain. On the way, Su Chuxia explained to her grandparents, these people want Dad's research results. They want to kidnap us and threaten us. So that's how it is. Sigh, I can't trust these people so easily next time. Grandpa Su nodded. Sorry for the trouble. Granny Su said with embarrassment. That's fine. It's also my job responsibility. Xiaochen said, Actually, I'm not. Actually, Xiao Chang isn't the person in charge of this mission. It's only because he's my boyfriend that he came to help us. Tian sourly said, That little Meng from before is really bad. Sour's boyfriend is the best. Granny Su nodded and sighed. Yeah, I wonder when our Chuxia will be able to find such an outstanding young man. Grandpa Su added. Su Chuxia glared at Tian Suruan. Can't you just let him explain? But now, he was being dragged into the matter again. Tian sourly stuck out her tongue. She was a person who cared a lot about her reputation. If outsiders found out that she was Xiao Chang's fake girlfriend, how embarrassing would that be? Therefore, she would never say anything about this matter. It was fine if only Su Chuxia knew about it. After Xiaochen went back, Taoist Luli was carried to a quiet room in the Taoist temple. Taoist Taishan checked on his injuries and drank a bowl of his own, immortal water. Taoist Luli finally woke up, but his condition was not very good. It could even be said that he was in a very bad condition. Cough, cough, cough. Master, I'm so sad, sigh, your injuries are not light. Fortunately, I was able to save you with the help of your martial granduncle. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to successfully concoct this immortal water. Taoist Tai Shan sighed. We've kicked an iron plate this time. Yeah, this Xiao Chang and that brute are too ruthless. These two people are amazing. Where did they come from? Taoist Luli was infuriated at the mention of these two people. *CK, I have to take revenge for these two. Revenge is a small matter. Now, I'm thinking about something else. If Martial Granduncle was still alive, that brute wouldn't be a match for him at all. A sinister smile appeared on Taoist Taishan's face. Master, what do you mean? Taoist Luli was stunned and quickly asked. I discovered a problem today. That Xiao Chang not only knows how to use the fireball technique, but he also knows how to use the ice ball technique. Taoist Taishan said, Luli, didn't you think of something? Fireball technique, ice ball technique? Taoist Luli was shocked and his eyes widened. In that case, this Xiao Chang might really be a cultivator. That's right. Taoist Taishan nodded his head in satisfaction and said, Luli, it seems that you have also thought of it. That's right, this Xiao Chang is very likely a cultivator. Furthermore, from what you told me about him knowing about talismans, I know that he should be one of us. Furthermore, he also knew about the formation today, so I think there's no mistake. Master, you mean to let Martial Granduncle possess me? Taoist Lu Li's eyes lit up. At the same time, he became somewhat happy. As long as there is a suitable cultivator, Martial Granduncle can possess me and be reborn. That's right. In this heavenly pure monastery, I'm the only one who has lived up to expectations and has already made some achievements. You are still very shallow, and it's impossible for Martial Granduncle to possess both of us. This Xiao Chang is a good body to possess, and his strength is sufficiently high. Taoist Taishan nodded and said, Luli, inform Yakashima Kikuo and Kai Lehu to come for a meeting now. I'll go find your Martial Granduncle and tell him this good news. Alright, I'll go and contact him now. Taoist Luli nodded his head, took his phone, and began to contact him. As for Taoist Taishan, he walked into the depths of the monastery. It was rugged, and he passed through several courtyards along the way. Finally, he arrived at the entrance of a basement. He carefully opened the large door lock and entered. Is Taishan back? An old but vigorous voice came from inside. Yes, Taishan greets Martial Uncle. Taoist Taishan said carefully. How is Luli? The old voice asked. The room was extremely dark, and he couldn't see anything at all. He couldn't even see his fingers in front of him, so he didn't know where the voice came from. However, Taishan knew that his martial uncle was currently only in the state of a primordial spirit. He needed someone to possess him and be reborn. Fortunately, he has consumed the immortal water that martial uncle made for him, so he's fine now. Taoist Taishan nodded his head and said, Martial Uncle, I was in a hurry just now, so I didn't have time to tell you something important. Oh? What is it? The old voice asked. It's like this, I've already thought of a suitable body for Martial Uncle to possess. Taoist Taishan said excitedly, that is the person who injured us today, Xiao Chang. Oh? What's going on? Could it be that he's a cultivator? The old voice was filled with excitement as he hurriedly asked. That's right. Not only does he know talismans and formations, he can also use fire and water attribute martial skills. How can he be a devil cultivator? Taoist Taishan said, martial cultivators are either fire, water, or ice attribute. It's impossible to use them together. No one cultivates these two conflicting mental cultivation methods. Sure enough, that's great. The old voice was somewhat happy. Then quickly bring him here. That's great, I'm finally going to be reborn. That's great. Ha 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 ha, I never thought that I, old demon fire wolf, would finally be able to see the light of day again. Wahahaha. I'll think of a way to trick him here as soon as possible. Taoist Taishan nodded and agreed. I'll wait for your good news. Old Demon Fire Wolf said. On the other side, Taoist Luli contacted Yi Dao Kufu and Kai Lehu one by one. The two of them were actually not weak. Although they were seriously injured, they had found a place at the foot of the mountain to recover. Each of them had their own methods. In any case, when Taoist Taishan returned, they were already there. Those two old fellows, did you let them go? When Kai Lehu saw Taoist Taishan, he hurriedly asked, it seems that even the most powerful Taoist Taishan is not a match for them. Let them go. Taoist Taishan nodded. Everyone, let's not laugh at each other. Those two people are really powerful. Let's think of our next step. Originally, I wanted Ling Qinxue to pretend to be a student and go to the school to get close to Xiao Chang and Su Chuxia. But now, it seems that there's not much point. We used the rules of the pugilistic world to talk, and the other party also used the rules of the pugilistic world to talk. We can't kidnap the Su family anymore. Why don't we think of a way to steal from the research base? Yi Dao Kufu said. That's a good idea, but Xiao Chang and that brat are too powerful. With them obstructing us, it will be very difficult for our people to enter the research base. Kai Lehu said. Xiao Chang and that brat are led by Xiao Chang. What we need to do now is to get rid of Xiao Chang. That brat is nothing to be afraid of. His IQ is a big problem. Taoist Taishan said, so, let's do this. We'll deal with Xiao Chang, while Mr. Yi Dao and Mr. Kai steal the information from the research base. What do you think? This. It's not easy to do. Yi Dao Kufu and Kai Lehu looked at each other. This Xiao Chang was very difficult to deal with. They didn't expect Taoist Taishan to take the initiative to agree. However, it was also very difficult to enter the research base. If it was that easy to enter, they wouldn't have kidnapped the Su family. Perhaps you might think that it's very difficult to enter the research base now, but what if Xiao Chang brings you in? Taoist Taishan smiled slightly. Chapter 572. Him. Bring us in? How is that possible? That kid is unmoved by force or persuasion. Kai Lehu was stunned. He was infuriated when he thought of Xiao Chang. This time, I'm afraid it's not up to him. He will listen to us. Taoist Taishan smiled and said mysteriously. Are you serious? Will Xiao Chang listen to you? Is it a threat or a cooperation? Yashima Kikuo asked in disbelief. You don't need to understand this. Just wait for the good news. Now, gather your men and prepare to attack the research base at any time. Listen to my news. Taoist Taishan said. All right, let's go back and prepare. Kai Lehu and Yashima Kikuo thought that this was a good thing. If they could deal with Xiao Chang, there would be no problem. However, what method did Taoist Taishan use? Could it be hypnosis? However, it was not their place to ask. The Pure Sky Monastery was a little strange. There were many legends among the people, so since the monastery was so confident, they waited for the good news. Yes, take care. Taoist Taishan said. After these people left, Taoist Luli asked, Master, how was it? What did Martial Uncle say? Your martial granduncle also agreed to let us trick that brat Xiao Chang over and then possess him. Taoist Taishan said, when the time comes, martial uncle Xiao Chang will bring us directly to the research base. He and Song Huawu have such a good relationship. Even if they are not colleagues, they are still related. And then I'll go and ask Xiao Chang. However, what if Xiao Chang doesn't come? Taoist Luli asked. Tell him that we have prepared 1 million in compensation and let him come to collect it. Taoist Taishan said. But what if he asks us to transfer the money? That kid can do it. Taoist Luli knew Xiao Chen very well. I feel that he won't come on purpose. If we don't transfer the money, he might threaten us. That's true. You know Xiao Chang well. After Daoist Tai Shan heard this, he nodded with a serious expression. Then we have to think of another way. Do you have any ideas? Let me think. Taoist Luli frowned and thought of a solution. Then Xiao Bai. Aya, why don't we do this? Let's tell him that our Taoist temple has no money, but we have some gold bars as compensation. Let him drive over to get the gold bars. Then what if he wants us to send it? Daoist Tai Shan asked. Didn't he drive our car away? We can't give it away. Daoist Luli slapped his thigh and said. That's right. Good, then invite him over now, the sooner the better. Daoist Tai Shan ordered. Okay. Taoist Luli took out his mobile phone and sent a Weixin message to Xiao Chen. Hello, young Master Chang. Are you home? We're here. Why? Xiao Chen replied. Well, I've discussed it with my master. We're going to compensate you with 1 million yuan. Daoist Luli said. Oh, transfer it. Transfer it directly into my Weixin wallet. Xiao Chen said. Daoist Luli looked at his mobile phone with an expectant expression. He smiled and said, Young Master Chang, our Taoist temple is too poor. We don't have any cash. How about I give you the equivalent value of gold bars? The gold bars are valuable. How about I give you 10% lower than the market price? Oh. Gold bars, then you send it to me. Xiao Chen said. That doesn't seem to work. First, we are all injured. Second, our Tianqing temple's car was driven away by you. We can't go. Daoist Luli said, and if we want to find a car, we don't dare to find a strange car. It's too conspicuous to pull a car full of gold bars. Xiao Chen thought about it. Although it was a little strange, it was impossible for Daoist Tai Shan to give him money. Now that he suddenly gave him money, he must be hiding something. However, Xiao Chen didn't refuse it. It's a waste not to get it for free. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen said, Okay, I'll go and get it tomorrow. Okay, then I'll wait for you. Daoist Luli said. Take a picture first. I want to see how much gold there is. Xiao Chen suddenly asked. Wait. Daoist Luli looked at Xiao Chen's Weixin and sneered. Fortunately, there were gold bars in the Taoist temple. Otherwise, it wouldn't match. He asked Emoji to run to the warehouse, take a few photos of the gold bars, and then send them to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen looked at it. There were gold bars. Although he was a little puzzled why Daoist Luli was so active, he thought about it and decided to go. Anyway, even if he couldn't get the gold bars, he wouldn't lose too much. He wasn't going to fight. Even if he couldn't beat Xiao Chen, he had absolute confidence that he could escape. With the strength of these two people, they couldn't keep Xiao Chen. Moreover, Daoist Luli was seriously injured. The next morning, Xiao Chen brought Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshou to school. On the way, he said to them, Daoist Lu said he wanted to give me some gold bars. I'll go and get them later. Wow, gold. Is it for your girlfriend? Tian Wangshou said with an expectant smile. Wangshou, how can you ask for things from others? Su Chuxia said. It's okay. I don't lack money anyway. If you like it, I'll give it to you. Xiao Chen said indifferently. He didn't lack money. The gold bars were just to trick Daoist Lu. It was his fault for causing trouble for him. Then. I don't want it either, Su Chuxia said. I want it. Sister Wangshou doesn't lack anything except gold. Give it to me. Tian Wangshou said quickly. Okay. Xiao Chen smiled. He was probably about to say goodbye to Tian Wangshou. Daoist Luli and the others should stop here. Even if they robbed the research base in the future, they wouldn't do anything to Su Chuxia or Grandpa Su. They should still abide by the rules of the underworld. Otherwise, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau could arrest them directly. They were the first to violate the rules of the underworld. The people of the underworld wouldn't stand up for them. Therefore, he left something for this fake girlfriend of his when he left. He might not see her again in the future because he couldn't use the identity of Yang Tan forever. Xiao Chang, shouldn't you hand these things over? Su Chusha asked. Isn't it a mistake to give them to Tian Wangsho? Oh, not really, Xiao Chen said. Yang Tan and I have nothing to do with each other. He was the one who made the mistake. Okay. Su Chusha shrugged and didn't say anything else. There's gold, there's gold. Chusha, what do you think Sister Wangsho should make? Should I make a big gold chain and wear it around my neck? Tian Wangsho shook Su Chusha's arm and said excitedly. Su Chusha was a little speechless. Can you be more normal? Are you a big sister? Have you ever seen a girl wear a big gold chain when she goes out? That's true. You'll feel rich if you leave the gold bars at home. You'll feel happy when you look at them every day. Tian Wangsho said. Whatever. Just don't leave it at my house, Su Chusha said. Why? Tian Wangsho said, are you burning the bridge after crossing it? You tricked me here and now you want to chase me away? I'm afraid of attracting thieves, Su Chusha said. Isn't there Xiao Chang? Tian Wangsho said. He can't be with us all the time. He's from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He'll go back after this mission. I'm worried that he'll be targeted, Su Chusha said. Ah. After Tian Wangsho heard this, she immediately lowered her head gloomily. She also thought that Xiao Chang would eventually leave. She didn't know why, but Tian Wangsho's heart ached. She was a little reluctant to leave. Although they hadn't spent much time together, Xiao Chen brought her a lot of joy. She quite liked to play with Xiao Chen. She didn't expect Xiao Chen to leave so soon. Wangsho, are you in love with him? Do you like Xiao Chang? Su Chusha lowered her voice, but Xiao Chen could still hear her. However, he couldn't interrupt this kind of topic. Ah, how is that possible? Tian Wangsho quickly said, Sister Wangsho isn't that easy to fall for. Sister Wangsho is very difficult to pursue. Alright, it's indeed difficult. You still have to beg others to pursue you, Su Chusha said. Chusha, how dare you mock me? Tian Wangsho was furious. Forget it. If you speak louder, Xiao Chang will hear you. Su Chusha smiled. All right. Tian Wangsho didn't say anything else. Xiao Chen dropped the two of them off at school. Then, he drove to Mount Azure Mountain's pure heavenly temple to find Taoist Luli to get the gold bar. The car quickly arrived at Mount Azure Mountain. Xiao Chen parked the car and went directly to the entrance of Pure Heavenly Temple. Today, Pure Heavenly Temple had returned to normal. Many good men and women were working hard to enter Pure Heavenly Temple. Xiao Chen arrived at Pure Heavenly Temple under the guidance of Moj, who had been waiting for a long time. As soon as he entered, he saw Taoist Luli smiling from afar. Luli, are you alright? Looking at you, you seem to be fine. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. This guy was seriously injured yesterday. Don't I have the immortal water here? Didn't young Master Chang come to ask for the immortal water before? You must know its effects, right? Taoist Luli said with a smile. He didn't forget to flatter the Taoist temple's immortal water. Of course, the reason why he was so excited was that this minor disciple in front of him was about to be possessed by the martial grand uncle. At that time, this kid would be gone and become the martial grand uncle. It was really satisfying. Oh, you made me pour it into the toilet. Xiao Chen said, don't talk nonsense. Take me to get the gold bar. Huh, of course, no problem. Originally, I wanted to discuss the talisman with young Master Chang. Since young Master Chang is in a hurry, then please. Taoist Luli said as he made an inviting gesture. Then, the two walked into the Taoist temple together. "Where is your master, Taoist Taishan?" asked Xiao Chen. "Taoist Taishan is waiting for young Master Chang in Sangjin Pavilion. That Sangjin Pavilion is an important place in the Taoist temple. Only Master can open it," Taoist Luli said casually. "Oh." Xiao Chen took 2 steps and suddenly said, "You won't trick me, right?" "Aha, how would we dare to trick you? You are so powerful. You always want to burn the Taoist temple. We can't afford to offend you," said Taoist Luli. Chapter 573. Oh. Xiao Chen nodded and followed Taoist Luli all the way to the depths of the Taoist temple. There was a small independent house. "It's here. Young Master Chang, please come in," Taoist Luli said to Xiao Chen. "That's not right. Why is this a basement?" Xiao Chen looked at Taoist Luli opening a secret passage in the middle of the floor of the small house. He asked curiously and vigilantly. "Of course, the gold is naturally hidden in a secret place. Otherwise, it will attract thieves," Taoist Luli said. "Then you go down and move it up." "I won't go down." Xiao Chen felt that there seemed to be a bit of a gloomy feeling inside, which made him subconsciously vigilant. My master, Taoist Taishan, is still down there, and this secret passage is a bit long. You see." Taoist Luli didn't expect Xiao Chen to not go down. Xiao Chen was about to refuse, but he heard the voice of Elder Heaven Ancestor saying, "There is something strange inside. It seems a bit interesting. Let's go down and take a look." "Oh. There is no danger?" Xiao Chen asked. "There should be, but isn't I here? I don't think there will be too much of a problem," Elder Heaven Ancestor said. "Well, then you lead the way." Xiao Chen nodded and said to Taoist Luli, who was about to continue to explain to him. "Ah, please come in." Taoist Luli nodded and entered the secret passage. This secret passage was really not short. The two of them walked for a long time before they came to a small door. The more Xiao Chen looked, the more he felt that something was wrong. However, since Elder Heaven Ancestor said that there was no problem, he pretended not to know and said, "Is it here?" "I will open the door for young Master Chang." Taoist Luli nodded and opened the small door. Then, he suddenly pushed Xiao Chen from behind, and Xiao Chen was pushed into the room. This was an incomparably dark room with no light at all. Xiao Chen had 6 senses that allowed him to see things in the dark. Once he entered, he felt that there was something strange in this room. The layout of this room was like a formation. Just as he was about to turn around and grab Taoist Luli, he saw a flash of white light. Suddenly, like a bolt of lightning, it shot into the top of Xiao Chen's head. Ah! Xiao Chen's brain was in so much pain that it felt like it was going to explode. He held his head and fainted on the ground, feeling that Xiao Chen had fallen and martial uncle Master Fire Wolf had successfully taken over. Taoist Luli laughed and said, "It's done. Master, can we turn on the light now?" At this time, the lights in the small room lit up. It was indeed an array. This was an array designed to preserve old demon Fire Wolf's primordial spirit. At this time, Taoist Taishan walked out of the corner and looked coldly at Xiao Chen, who was lying on the ground. He smiled and said, "Let's not disturb the fusion of martial uncle's soul. You and I can leave and wait." It's done. Great, with a powerful figure like martial uncle, our heavenly pure temple will be a member of the martial arts world in the future. Taoist Luli said excitedly, "Otherwise, we have to raise money everywhere to repair the Taoist temple. It's really miserable. Well, with martial uncle's strength and status, our heavenly pure temple will slowly become stronger." Taoist Taishan also nodded. In the room, Xiao Chen only felt as if something had occupied his divine sense C. His mind was in a mess, and he instantly lost consciousness. Old demon Fire Wolf was very happy. From the moment Xiao Chen came in, he felt that this was a good body for him to take over. This was definitely a cultivator, and a martial master level cultivator at that. It was really a heaven-sent opportunity. For a body of this level, he could directly take over it in one go without any difficulty. After entering Xiao Chen's divine sense space, old demon fire wolf was about to begin the primordial spirit fusion when he suddenly felt that there seemed to be a pair of eyes peeping at him in the dark, giving him a big fright. Who? Kid, you're not dead yet? You're still conscious? Old demon fire wolf subconsciously thought that Xiao Chen's primordial spirit was not completely destroyed, and there was still a trace of divine sense remaining, looking at him unwillingly. It's actually the primordial spirit of the foundation establishment stage. TSK, what a good thing. Elder Heaven Ancestor's mocking voice sounded. Old demon fire wolf immediately stood up in fright and exclaimed, "Oh my God, who? Who? Who are you?" Of course it's this old man. Elder Heaven Ancestor appeared in Xiao Chen's divine sense space and appeared in front of old demon fire wolf. You. Old demon fire wolf suddenly realized that the primordial spirit in front of him was not Xiao Chen's primordial spirit at all, but another high-level primordial spirit. Even he couldn't see the true strength of this primordial spirit. What's going on? Could it be that Xiao Chen has been taken over by another primordial spirit? How is this possible? But why didn't I feel it when I took over? Or could it be that this primordial spirit didn't succeed in taking over, so it temporarily resided in the divine sense space and hadn't fused yet? What about me? Elder Heaven Ancestor asked. Senior, I'm leaving. I didn't know this was Senior's territory. Sorry for disturbing. With that, old demon fire wolf wanted to leave. He wasn't stupid. With such a powerful primordial spirit here, he simply wasn't a match for it. It would be a piece of cake to destroy it. Oh, since you're here, don't think about leaving. You won't be able to get out, Elder Heaven Ancestor said indifferently. Oh, Senior, I was wrong. Please let me go. Old demon fire wolf was shocked. Wait on the side first. After Elder Heaven Ancestor said that, he shouted into the divine sense space, "Xiao Chen, wake up. Come out and play." Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice echoed in the divine sense space. It seemed to have some kind of magical power that made Xiao Chen slowly transform. However, when Xiao Chen woke up, he saw a blurry space. And not far from him, there were two people. One was a burly, spirited old man, and the other was a somewhat wretched-looking middle-aged man. This is... Xiao Chen asked curiously. Xiao Chen, don't you recognize me? The burly old man laughed and said to Xiao Chen. Ah. You're Elder Heaven Ancestor. Xiao Chen was shocked. How could he see Elder Heaven Ancestor? Didn't the celestial elder only exist in one's body and not as a physical being? Then what he saw was, of course it's me. Elder Heaven Ancestor nodded. Xiao Chen, we finally meet. Then what is this place? Who is this person? Xiao Chen looked at the wretched-looking man in the Taoist robe and asked. This is your deep sea of consciousness, or rather, the space of consciousness. As for me and this primordial spirit, we exist in your space of consciousness. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. And this little guy just tried to possess you. But I saw that he still has some use, so I didn't kill him and left him alive. Yes, I have use. Old Devil Fire Wolf said in fright. So, then Xiao Chen was shocked. Am I also in the form of a primordial spirit? Otherwise, why would I appear here? Elder Heaven Ancestor explained. Well, your primordial spirit was about to be destroyed by this little guy, so I helped you protect it first. Then, when he came in, I removed the protection. Right now, your body is only unconscious. It's not a big deal. So that's how it is. Thank you, Elder Heaven Ancestor. After hearing this, Xiao Chen had some lingering fear. There was indeed a problem. However, this Daoist Dear Li and Daoist Tai Shan were quite sinister. They tricked me into coming here just to possess my body. They were too wicked. Fortunately, I had already taken precautions. If it wasn't for Elder Heaven Ancestor letting me in, I wouldn't have gone in no matter what. Now that Elder Heaven Ancestor was confident, it wasn't too dangerous. Huh, you are my disciple. Naturally, I have to take care of you. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Old Devil Fire Wolf smiled and asked carefully, that, the two of you have such a deep relationship. It's not good for an outsider like me to be here. Well, should I leave first? Leave? You can leave now that you're here? Elder Heaven Ancestor looked at Old Devil Fire Wolf with a faint smile. Old Devil Fire Wolf said, that. I also have disciples outside. If I go out, they can take care of me. Don't I need you to take care of me here? That extra person. Old Devil Fire Wolf said, oh, you still need someone to take care of you? That's so troublesome. It seems that I'll just kill you. Elder Heaven Ancestor said with a smile. Old Devil Fire Wolf was so scared that his face changed and immediately said, oh, don't. I don't need anyone to take care of me. Not only do I not need anyone to take care of me, but I can also take care of others. Oh, but we don't need anyone to take care of us. Xiao Chen and Elder Heaven Ancestor had a tacit understanding. He knew that Elder Heaven Ancestor was scaring this kid, so he cooperated and said, Elder Heaven Ancestor, he's useless. It's better to kill him. How can I leave someone who wants to possess me alive? Old Devil Fire Wolf was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He quickly begged for mercy. Oh, don't. Hero, spare my life. Hero, just now your master, Elder Heaven Ancestor, said that I'm useful. You can't kill me. I'm so useful. Oh. Elder Heaven Ancestor, is this person still useful? Xiao Chen asked. It's useful. I see that this primordial spirit is at the foundation establishment stage. We can refine him into a ghost talisman devil. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Ghost talisman devil? What's that? Xiao Chen didn't quite understand. Simply put, it's a pet that you play in the game. Do you understand now? Elder Heaven Ancestor explained. Oh, I understand. It can be used in battle, right? Xiao Chen roughly understood what Elder Heaven Ancestor meant. But can he help me fight? You can refine him into a ghost talisman devil. He can't live without you. He can only be controlled by you. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. That's a good idea. How do I refine him? Xiao Chen nodded and asked. Old Devil Fire Wolf was listening on the side. His face was pale. He was a little dumbfounded. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said that it was useful. This was turning him into a slave. This was not much better than killing him, right? Chapter 574. No, don't. You two heroes, you see that I'm weak. You should find someone stronger to refine into a demon. I'm too weak. Old Demon Fire Wolf was terrified. If I fight, won't I be embarrassing you, great hero? Oh, it doesn't matter. Demons can also be upgraded. If you perform well, I can help you upgrade. Elder Heaven Ancestor smiled indifferently. I'll give you two choices. One is to become a demon. What about the other? Old Demon Fire Wolf quickly asked. Of course, it's to die, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Is there no other choice? Old Demon Fire Wolf was very unwilling. Definitely not. Elder Heaven Ancestor shook his head. You wanted to possess my disciple. I'm already letting you go by refining you into a demon. Sigh. My life is so miserable. Old Demon Fire Wolf was a little helpless. Although he was unwilling, he had no other choice. He could only agree. All right then. It's better to live than to die. That's right. If you perform well, you'll be useless in a few years. I'll give you back your freedom, Elder Heaven Ancestor said in a bewitching tone. Really? Old Demon Fire Wolf was very happy. Of course. Elder Heaven Ancestor turned to look at Xiao Chen. If you don't believe me, ask him. Have I, Elder Heaven Ancestor, ever deceived people? No. Xiao Chen shook his head. Okay, then I believe you. Go ahead and refine. How do you want me to cooperate? Old Demon Fire Wolf asked. In a while, I'll let Xiao Chen wake up first. Then, use your voice and this body to order your 2 disciples to find some materials. Do you hear me? Elder Heaven Ancestor said. If anything goes wrong, I'll kill you. Got it. Old Demon Fire Wolf said helplessly. Okay, Xiao Chen, now close your eyes and take a deep breath. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Xiao Chen did as he was told, and he woke up. He found that he was lying in the small dark room from before, and there was an array around him, but it didn't matter what it was, the important thing was that he was fine. Xiao Chen stood up and opened the door of the small house. He saw Daoist Lu Li and Daoist Tai Shan standing anxiously at the door. When they saw Xiao Chen wake up and open the door, they couldn't help but be delighted. However, they still probed, Xiao Chen, why did you faint just now? Alright, stop pretending. Tai Shan, Lu Li, I'm already awake. Old Demon Fire Wolf in Xiao Chen's body said directly. He didn't dare to not say it. Elder Heaven Ancestor was watching from the side. He felt that if he said one wrong word, Elder Heaven Ancestor could destroy him. For some reason, after Xiao Chen's primordial spirit entered his sea of consciousness, he could clearly feel the situation in his sea of consciousness. He could also see Elder Heaven Ancestor and Old Demon Fire Wolf. Ah, greetings Martial Uncle. Daoist Tai Shan was overjoyed. Greetings Martial Uncle. Daoist Lu Li was also overjoyed. My primordial spirit hasn't completely fused yet. Get me some materials, I want to fuse them. Although Old Demon Fire Wolf's voice was incomparably majestic, his heart was bleeding as he spoke. No problem, Martial Uncle, please instruct me. Daoist Tai Shan said quickly. Go and prepare the blood-withered vine, heavenly hemp banana, star fragment stone. Xiao Chen listed out some rare natural treasures. However, these things could be bought in Lon City's martial artists market, so it was not difficult. Alright, Lu Li, go and make the arrangements. Buy Martial Uncle's things as soon as possible. Daoist Tai Shan felt a little strange. Didn't Old Demon Fire Wolf ask him to prepare some treasures for fusing primordial spirit? Why did he ask him to prepare them again this time? However, he didn't dare to ask too much. He directly got Lu Li to carry out the task. Daoist Lu Li went out and found his disciple, Moj. He told him to go to the warrior market and buy these things no matter the price. Money was not a problem. Martial Uncle, how do you feel? Is this body alright? Daoist Tai Shan asked carefully. Not bad. Old Demon Fire Wolf thought to himself. Not bad my ass. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have possessed this kid even if I was beaten to death. That's good. By the way, Martial Uncle, do you still have Xiao Chang's memories in your body? Daoist Tai Shan asked. Don't slander Xiao Chang. He has already fused with me and become one person. Xiao Chen imitated Old Demon Fire Wolf's voice and interjected. He and I are one person now. Don't do anything to Su Chuxia and the rest in the future, understand? This. Daoist Tai Shan was taken aback and quickly said, got it. Although he was very puzzled, he didn't dare to go against Martial Uncle's wishes. Since Martial Uncle said so, then so be it. However, why did Martial Uncle fuse with Xiao Chang? Wasn't it a possession? Shouldn't it be a replacement? However, with the previous stern reprimand, he didn't dare to ask again. He only sat at the side carefully. Tai Shan, I heard that you are raising funds to build a Daoist temple. Xiao Chen asked. This, martial uncle, actually building a Taoist temple is fake. The real expense is the formation that protects your primordial spirit. We need to continuously invest a large amount of money to maintain it. We can still fork out the money to repair the Taoist temple ourselves. Taoist Tai Shan explained, however, we don't need to maintain this formation in the future. Naturally, there won't be such a large expenditure. Martial uncle said that we won't be dealing with the Su family, so we won't be participating in this mission for the time being. Xiao Chen nodded. All right, you can go first. I want to rest alone. Xiao Chen waved his hand at Taoist Tai Shan. Mo Ji happily went to the warrior guild and bought all the things that Xiao Chen needed from the warrior market. After returning to the Taoist temple, Xiao Chen got everyone to leave after receiving them. Refining a ghost talisman demon was a very cruel thing. It turned a primordial spirit into a slave. Unless the primordial spirit was willing, the process would be quite painful for both the primordial spirit and the refiner. Fortunately, Elder Heaven Ancestor had deceived this old devil fire wolf to become Xiao Chen's ghost talisman demon. This way, both of them could save some pain. Xiao Chen placed all the materials in front of him. Under a huge cauldron, a raging fire was burning. This was the true Samadhi fire wolf that Xiao Chen had activated. This huge cauldron was the treasure cauldron of the Heavenly Purity Temple. It was the treasure of the temple. Old Devil Fire Wolf didn't expect that one day he would be refined into a demon using this huge cauldron. Xiao Chen followed the instructions of Elder Heaven Ancestor. While activating the true Samadhi fire wolf, he threw the materials prepared by Mo.G into the huge cauldron one by one. Then, he closed the lid of the cauldron. Sounds of refining and fusion could be heard coming from the huge cauldron. It was very terrifying. After a while, Elder Heaven Ancestor's voice sounded in Xiao Chen's ears. It's done. I will now seal this little guy's primordial spirit and force it out of your body. Then, you can throw it into the huge cauldron. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. Although Old Devil Fire Wolf was trembling with fear, he didn't dare to disobey. After all, Elder Heaven Ancestor controlled his life and death. If he didn't agree, Elder Heaven Ancestor wouldn't just seal him, but directly kill him. Old Devil Fire Wolf could only accept his fate. He cursed in his heart, little guy, just you wait. When I'm done, I will definitely break away from your control and possess your body. Then, I will refine you and Elder Heaven Ancestor's primordial spirit into my ghost talisman devil head. As he was thinking, Old Devil Fire Wolf was forced out of Xiao Chen's body by Elder Heaven Ancestor. Xiao Chen saw an illusory white light that seemed to be surrounded by a bubble. It slowly rose into the air. Xiao Chen didn't dare to be negligent. He grabbed it and stuffed it into the huge cauldron. Then, he closed the lid of the cauldron again. The true Samadhi Fire Wolf was quickly activated, and the huge cauldron once again emitted a buzzing sound. Accompanied by Old Devil Fire Wolf's shrill screams, the buzzing sound inside the huge cauldron became even louder. The entire huge cauldron swayed back and forth, making clanging sounds. As for Xiao Chen, he didn't care about that. He only followed the method taught to him by Elder Heaven Ancestor and activated the true Samadhi Fire Wolf. He didn't dare to use it for even a moment. After 3 hours, the buzzing sound inside the huge cauldron gradually subsided, and the shrill screams also gradually stopped. Xiao Chen knew that the devil head had been successfully refined. He slowly put away the true Samadhi fire. This time, refining the devil head had really overdrawn his physical strength. He was now almost at the end of his rope. Not bad, you persevered. If you couldn't hold on, I was ready to take over at any time. Elder Heaven Ancestor's encouraging voice sounded in Xiao Chen's ear. Elder Heaven Ancestor, you finally praised me. Xiao Chen said with a smile, now, can you open the lid of the cauldron? Yes. Elder Heaven Ancestor said with certainty. Xiao Chen reached out and grabbed the lid of the cauldron and opened it. A humanoid figure suddenly flew out of the cauldron. Its appearance was unexpectedly that wretched man that Xiaochen saw in his divine sense space. Master, Old Devil Fire Wolf pays respect to Master. Although Old Devil Fire Wolf was unwilling, he now felt that his life was closely related to Xiaochen. If Xiaochen wanted him to die, he absolutely wouldn't be able to live. There was no other way, he could only bow his head. Not bad. Elder Heaven Ancestor, how powerful is this devil head? Xiaochen asked. His strength is at the foundation establishment stage, but before that, he was in the primordial spirit state. Even if he refined a devil head, it should only be at the 7th or 8th level of Qi refining stage. It shouldn't be too high. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Master, I'm very powerful, okay? I can at least fight against a martial master now. Old Devil Fire Wolf said. He didn't lie about this. Elder Heaven Ancestor nodded. A devil head is similar to a cultivator. It's not strange for a martial master to fight someone of a higher level. Of course, it depends on the level of the martial master. He can deal with an ordinary martial master, but he can't deal with a powerful one. Oh, that's not bad. Elder Heaven Ancestor, where does he usually go? He can't just follow me like this, right? If I bring him out, people will be scared to death. Xiaochen looked at the illusory humanoid figure and was somewhat speechless. If people who didn't know the truth saw this, they would think that it was a ghost. Chapter 575. You can put him in your divine sense space. He stays with me normally. When you need him to come out and help you fight, you can let him out, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Oh, that Hua. What's that? Your name is too long to say. I'll change it to Wang Kai from now on. Xiaochen said. Pfft. Master, this name. Why does it sound like a dog? Old Demon Fire Wolf said with a sad face. Oh, aren't you just my dog? Xiaochen retorted. That being said, since Master is so awesome, you should give your dog a more domineering name, right? Old Demon Fire Wolf quickly said with a smile. What you said makes sense. Xiaochen nodded and said, then I'll call you Universe Super Invincible Dog. After saying that, Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat. He could not help but think of the first young mistress. In the courtyard of the villa, the first young mistress had her hands on her waist and reached out to poke him as she lectured him word by word. Wrong. It's Universe Super Invincible Dog, not Invincible Super Dog. Thinking of Miss Xiaochen's heart was a little heavy. I wonder how she is now. Master, this name is a bit too domineering. Universe Super Invincible Dog, doesn't that surpass Master? Old Demon Fire Wolf secretly complained. Why is this still a dog name? What's your original name? Xiaochen didn't want to give him this name. Old Demon Fire Wolf quickly replied respectfully, my name is Old Demon Fire Wolf. What's your real name? Xiaochen asked. My real name. It's been too long, I can't remember. I think it's in something. Old Demon Fire Wolf was fascinated. He thought of his youth, but it was already so far away that he couldn't even remember it. It's been too long, he said with emotion. Oh, then I'll call you Little Demonin, Xiaochen said, how about this name? All right. When Old Demon Fire Wolf heard this, he immediately agreed. No matter what, this was much better than Wang Kai and Invincible Dog. At the very least, it was a normal person's name. Although it wasn't very ideal, he didn't dare to change it. If Xiaochen suddenly had a strange idea and gave him a name like Lai Fu or Go Leftovers, it would be better than this. All right, Little Demonin, you can go back, Xiaochen ordered Old Demon Fire Wolf. Yes, Master. And Xiaomo responded and returned to Xiaochen's divine sense space. Xiaochen thought that this demon had been successfully refined, but he had to find a chance to test it out next time to see how its combat power was. If it was too weak, he could only take it out to scare people. It wouldn't be of much use. Ahem, Taishan, Luli, come in. Xiao Chen accepted in Little Demon, then opened the door and instructed the people outside. Martial Granduncle. Martial Uncle. Daoist Taishan and Daoist Luli didn't dare to leave. They had been waiting outside the door. When they heard Xiao Chen calling for them, they quickly walked in. You two, keep the matter of my possession a secret. However, I still have the identity of Xiao Chang. I still have to return to Su Chuxia's side to protect her. Do you hear me? Xiao Chen said to the two disciples. Taishan and Luli were taken aback. They asked at the same time, Martial Uncle, Ancestor, with your current strength, there is no need to do this, right? That won't do. Do you know? This Xiao Chang's true identity is the team leader of Team C of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Now that I have fused with his primordial spirit, if the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau find out, they will definitely not forgive our Tianqin temple. Xiao Chen said alarmingly, so, I have to continue this identity. I see. Martial Uncle, Ancestor, is wise. The two nodded in unison after listening. All right, then I'll leave first. By the way, where's the gold bar? Move my car up. Xiao Chen said. Luli and Taishan were taken aback. Martial Uncle, Ancestor, why do you still need the gold bar? I said that I came out to take the gold bar. I didn't take anything back. How am I going to explain it? Xiao Chen said with a cold expression, why? You dare to question my words? I haven't taught you a lesson for so many years, right? We don't dare, we don't dare. The two begged for mercy. Martial Uncle, Ancestor, we will do it now. That's more like it. Xiao Chen nodded. By the way, Martial Uncle, Ancestor, the gold bar. There are a few hundred liters in the trunk of your car. They are all filled. It can carry a few tons of gold. Do you want to carry all of them? Daoist Luli and Daoist Taishan asked. Damn, you guys are so rich. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. If you pack so much, won't my car collapse? Just pack it according to the price of 1 million. Wasn't this gold left by Martial Uncle, Ancestor, back then? The two of them were a little puzzled. Oh, then hurry up and pack it. Xiao Chen said with a wave of his hand. Yes, Martial Uncle, Ancestor. The two of them responded and went to carry out the task. 1 million gold was calculated to be 200 yuan per gram, which was 5 grams, which was just a few gold bars. Very quickly, the car was loaded. Xiao Chen drove the car and left. This 1 million gold was nothing to Xiao Chen. On the way back to school, he felt that it was time to say goodbye to Su Chuxia and Tianyu. He could also hand in the mission of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, because of Martial Uncle, Ancestor's instructions. Daoist Luli and Daoist Taishan discussed for a while and immediately called Yukio Yashima and Kai Lehu to cancel the cooperation. Mr. Kai, I can't deal with Xiao Chang on my side. I think it's better to forget about the cooperation. Our heavenly pure monastery will not participate. This time, we suffered heavy losses. Xiao Chang even swindled us of 1 million in compensation. Daoist Luli said with a bitter face, I have lost all the money you gave me. What? You don't want to participate? Kai Lehu was stunned. How can we not participate? He quickly said, that's not right. Daoist Luli, didn't we agree to deal with him together? But Xiao Chang is really not easy to deal with. He has already said that if our heavenly pure monastery dares to cause trouble for him again, he will set fire to our heavenly pure monastery. Moreover, he didn't look for you, but looked for us. It's too sad. Said Daoist Luli, I see. Kai Lehu was a little speechless after listening. He also knew Xiao Chang's character, so when he heard this, he knew that it was useless to force him. He didn't want to play anymore, so he could only say, well, since Daoist Luli doesn't want to participate, then forget it. Okay, then I will call Yukio Yashima again, said Daoist Luli, no need. He is with me. I will tell him, said Kai Lehu. Alright, let's cooperate again in the future if there is a chance, said Daoist Luli. Kai Lehu hung up the phone and frowned. Originally, the research base's information was not easy to get. Now that the Heavenly Pure Monastery didn't want to participate, it was even more difficult for them. What's wrong, Lehu Jun? What's the problem? Asked Yukio Yashima. AI, Daoist Luli doesn't want to play anymore. As he spoke, he told Kai Lehu the news he had just received. Xiao Cheng is really powerful. It is normal for him not to play anymore. We are interested in the Research Institute's information, but Daoist Luli is just doing it for money, so he doesn't need to work so hard. We are different. Yukio Yashima could understand after listening. He nodded and said, however, Lehu Jun, I came this time with good news. The impact of your bad news can also be offset. Oh. What good news? Kai Lehu was stunned and asked quickly. This is the case. The European Claryman family came. They are also interested in the research base's information. Yukio Yashima said, they contacted me and want to join our cooperation. Claryman family? What is that? Kai Lehu was stunned. He had never heard of such a family. In the local town of Lego in Europe, the Claryman family is similar to Lehu Jun's Kai family in Lon City. Said Yukio Yashima. Oh, it turns out to be the Black family. Kai Lehu understood this time and nodded. What capabilities do they have? How many warriors and martial artists do they have? They have warriors. On their side, warriors are called martial knights, and martial artists are called martial riders. However, there are not many of them. This time, only a few martial knights came, said Yukio Yashima. That's useless. Kai Lehu shook his head. We are not their opponents, let alone a few more warriors. That's not true. They have firearms. Yukio Yashima smiled and said, they are a family in the firearms business. This time, they came here illegally and brought a lot of lethal weapons. We can directly rob the research base. Oh. That's risky. Kai Lehu frowned after listening, but he was obviously a little tempted. There is a risk, but how can there be no risk? Yukio Yashima said, as long as we can get the information, it's okay to pay some price. But if we use firearms, it's not convenient for the Kai family to participate. After all, our foundation is in Lon City. If the Supernatural Investigation Bureau gets hold of this, we won't be able to bear the consequences. Kai Lehu said with some worry, previously, we could say that we were doing things according to the rules of the underworld. But now, if we use weapons to rob, it's not something that the people of the underworld should do. If something happens, no one will stand up for the Kai family. Lehu Jun, don't worry. It will definitely be the Claryman family who will be the vanguard. We will just be supporting them. Yukio Yashima said. No, we can't do anything. The people of the Kai family must not appear. This is the bottom line. Kai Lehu shook his head. You don't know. We used force before, so the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wouldn't do anything to us. If we used firearms and implicated our Kai family, they could just bring an armored car over and bombard our Kai family. I'd be dead. Yukio Yashima nodded and said, in that case, I will be supporting them. After it's done, Lehu Jun only needs to help us leave Lon City safely. You don't have to worry about anything else. I think Lehu Jun should be able to do this, right? Chapter 576. That's not a problem at all. Kai Lehu agreed without hesitation. The Kai family had been operating in the underworld of Lon City for many years, so they were confident in transferring people. Hence, he agreed without hesitation. This way, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would not have any evidence to prove that the Kai family was involved and could not do anything to them. Okay, then I'll contact the people from the Clarman family. Yorishima Kikuo actually did not want to bring the people from the Klarman family. After all, they had already figured out the terrain and the route. The Klarman family had just arrived, but they were already there. He naturally felt uncomfortable. However, now that Heavenly Clear Temple had withdrawn, he had to find a new partner. He did not care about this. Anyway, the people from the Klarman family would be the vanguard. Kai Lehu nodded and said, "Well, sure. I've also arranged the route and method to leave the city. Once you succeed, I'll send you out." After the two of them had finished discussing, Nishima Kiru left to look for the people from the Klarman family to plan. This time, the Klarman family had sent one of the Klarman family's heirs, Vikings Klarman, to Lon City. Although he was not the first in line, the success or failure of his mission would add to his future. Although he was capable, he did not have enough time. It was said that the research was now coming to an end. In a few days, the information would be sealed and sent to the higher-ups. When that time came, it would be useless to come again. The research base would be gone. Hence, he was eager to find people to cooperate with. After asking around, he found Yorishima Kikuo and wanted to join. In order to get the other party to agree, he did not hesitate to promise his own people to be the vanguard and act as cannon fodder. Anyway, the Klarman family had many small disciples. Before these people came, they had given their families a large sum of money to be used as sacrificial warriors, so there was nothing to be afraid of. On the other side, Vikings received a positive reply from Yorishima Kikuo. He immediately became happy and waited for his arrival. After a while, Yorishima Kikuo arrived at Vikings' residence. "Welcome, Mr. Yorishima. I've heard a lot about you," Vikings said politely as he welcomed Yorishima Kikuo into the house. "Huh, Mr. Vikings, you're too kind. We're all the same kind of people, so let's forget about these empty words. I also know that you people in Europe like to get straight to the point and not beat around the bush, right?" Yorishima Kikuo said with a smile. Vikings nodded and said, "That's right, Mr. Yujima. I'm here to cooperate with the Sakura group and seize the data of the research base together. I've discussed it with my partner, Mr. Kai Lehu. Initially, there are no problems, but the main problem is, what can you provide? Or rather, what can you do in a collaboration? As you know, I've been working hard for a long time, and I'm about to reap the rewards. It's so refreshing to talk to Mr. Night Island. What I can provide is manpower and weapons." Vikings said, "As long as Mr. Night Island provides the map of the research base and the location of the data, I think my people will be able to get the data smoothly." "Sure, no problem." Yorishima Kikuo nodded and said, "That's exactly what I'm lacking on my side. The map of the research base has been sorted out after a lot of hard work and reports from our insider. I don't know when Mr. Vikings will take action, but when the time comes, our insider can provide support. Anytime." Vikings smiled and said confidently, "The people I've recruited are all trained by retired mercenary experts. All of them are good at assaulting. As long as we have the map, we can study it." "That's great. Let's do it tonight. In order to avoid any accidents, we won't have any hope if the research base hands over the data." Yorishima Kikuo said happily. "That's not a problem, but Mr. Night Island, what is your insider responsible for in the research base?" Vikings asked. "It must be a key department. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to sort out the map. You must know that none of the staff inside could have such a great ability." Yorishima Kikuo smiled and said, "This person is a technician in the security monitoring room. With the advantage of being able to view and operate the monitoring, he can summarize the topographic map of the research base and know where the core confidential data is located." "Huh, it seems that my cooperation with Mr. Night Island is really wise. We have a clear division of labor." Vikings was overjoyed after hearing this. He didn't expect Yorishima Kikuo to be so powerful that he actually had his own people in the monitoring room. This is also a coincidence. They just imported a set of relatively advanced monitoring equipment and are recruiting excellent computer talents from the society. This person has been a spy trained by a subsidiary company of our Sakura group since he was in college, so it's just the right time to use him. Yorishima Kikuo said with a smile, when you go, I can ask him to help destroy the monitoring. We have never used this person before, and he has no criminal record. He will definitely succeed. Oh. That's great. This way, we can smoothly break through without much effort. Vikings nodded happily. There is one more important problem. How are we going to evacuate after we obtain the data? I'm afraid the whole city will be under martial law, right? Yorishima Kikuo was afraid that Vikings didn't understand, so he explained, that's for sure. However, my partner, Mr. Kai Lehu, is a local tyrant in Lon City. The Kai family is in Lon City, just like the Klarman family is in Lego Town. Then it doesn't matter. Vikings nodded and said, all right, I'll take action with my men tonight. After school, Xiao Chen's car was waiting at the entrance of the college. After a while, Su Chuxia and Tian Souring came out. Xiao Chen had already contacted them beforehand and told them that he would be waiting at the entrance of the college. Tian Souring walked over, opened the door, and looked inside the car. Su Chuxia walked over and asked curiously, what are you looking at? The gold bar. Where is it? Tian Souring asked. Oh, it's in the trunk. Xiao Chen got out of the car, opened the trunk, and took out a bag of gold bars. He handed it to Tian Souring and said, I promise to give it to you. Ah, it's so heavy. Tian Souring saw that the gold bars weren't big, but she didn't expect them to be so heavy. She almost dropped them on the ground. Of course, the gold is definitely heavy. Otherwise, why would people commit suicide by swallowing gold in the past? Xiao Chen was shocked when he said this because he saw Tian Souring stuff the gold bar into her mouth. He quickly said, but don't eat it. Huh, I can't. I'll bite it and see if it's real. Tian Souring said. Souring, why are you so unhygienic? This isn't right. Moreover, you shouldn't accept such an expensive thing. Su Chuxia said. Aya, this is given by Sister Sour's boyfriend. Why can't I accept it? I can even accept diamonds. Tian Sour said disapprovingly, don't worry about our relationship, Chuxia. Okay. Su Chuxia shook her head helplessly. In the car, looking at the happy Tian Souring and the speechless Su Chuxia, Xiao Chen wanted to say that he was leaving several times, but in the end, he didn't say it. He didn't want to ruin the atmosphere. He dragged the car back to the courtyard of his house. Su Chuxia and Tian Souring had already gotten out of the car, but he still didn't say it. It seemed like he could only talk about it tomorrow morning. Xiao Chen went back to rest. However, in the middle of the night, he unexpectedly received a call from Song Huawu. However, it was Xia Shibin's voice that came through the phone. He said anxiously, Team leader, bad news. The research base was ambushed at night. Deputy team leader Song was seriously injured and is now in the hospital. What? Xiao Chen was stunned. He was a little shocked. Even Heavenly Clear Temple had withdrawn from the operation. With the strength of the two people from the Sakura group and the motley crew from Kai Lehu's family, they could actually ambush the research base and injure Song Huawu. This was simply unbelievable. Putting aside how these people broke through the defense, one had to know that the patrolling guards in the research base were all armed. Logically speaking, even if these people rushed in, they would be shot to death. There was no need for Song Huawu to fight them head-on, right? The research data was stolen. Team leader Song's condition is very serious. One of his legs was blown off. The doctors in the hospital said that it might not be reattached. Not only that, the remaining leg will also have to be amputated. Xia Shibin said anxiously. What happened? What did you say? How is this possible? Xiao Chen was completely shocked this time. Song Huawu was actually injured so badly? Did the other party have a very powerful master? Team leader, the other party used a lot of lethal firearms. They forced their way in through the gate of the research base. They used rocket launchers and explosives. The other party's firepower was very fierce. Our security guards were equipped with ordinary pistols. They were no match for them at all. Under the other party's attack, we were forced to retreat. Xia Shibin explained. As for team leader Song, he was trying to save those scientists. This group of thugs was obviously desperate. They rushed in and wanted to blow up the scientists' dormitory. They threw a grenade over. Fortunately, team leader Song reacted quickly and kicked the grenade away. Unfortunately, he was still affected by the aftershock of the explosion. Now, he is in danger. What happened to the research base? Xiao Chen was shocked. Who are these people? Are they the people of Midnight Island Kishio and Kai Lehu? I don't think so. Judging from their figures, they should be Westerners, not Easterners. Xia Shibin said, they have already succeeded. Our people are no match for them at all. I just sent team leader Song to the hospital and quickly called you to report. Chapter 577. After listening to Xia Shibin's report, Xiao Chen suddenly felt a little strange. Where did this group of people come from? Since they were Westerners, how could there be no signs? They just directly made their move. There was no scouting or investigation. Team leader, it's like this. We didn't expect that someone would suddenly attack at night, but the monitoring department didn't give any warning in advance. Moreover, when the incident happened, they turned off the monitoring and alarm system, causing someone to invade. We couldn't respond in time. Xia Shibin said. After that, a technician on duty in charge of monitoring disappeared. It should be him who did it. He escaped with those people. Immediately report the situation to Deputy Bureau Chief Xia Zhili, and then thoroughly investigate the identity of that technician. Block all the main roads in the city, and trace the origins of those Westerners. Xiao Chen directly ordered Xia Shibin. Also, where is Huawu? In the city's first hospital. I'm here too. Xia Shibin said. Okay, I'll be there right away. Xiao Chen was actually most worried about Song Huawu. As for the information, it actually had nothing to do with him. The reason why he was so concerned was not because he wanted to disguise his identity, but because he had a passion for his country. The information of the Xia kingdom had been stolen by outsiders. He couldn't ignore it when he saw it. That was why he gave instructions to Xia Shibin. Yes, team leader. Xia Shibin quickly responded. Xiao Chen went downstairs and quickly drove to the first hospital. In the hospital's emergency department, he saw Xia Shibin with an anxious face. When he saw Xiao Chen, he immediately walked over. Team leader, although the doctors tried their best to save him, it was said that there was not much hope. Xiao Chen nodded with a serious expression. He turned to look at Xia Shibin and asked, what did Deputy Bureau Chief Xia say? He said that his duty is to protect the Su family from harm. As for the security of the research base, it is the responsibility of another Deputy Bureau Chief. It has little to do with him, so we don't have to worry, Xia Shibin said. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. This Xia Zhili was really a talent. Such a big matter, but he was indifferent. I really wonder how he sat in this position. However, the situation in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was also different. Some people with special abilities and great strength would be specially promoted and entrusted with important tasks. It was actually quite impossible to count on these people to do things wholeheartedly. At this time, a doctor hurried over. When he saw Xiao Chen and Xia Shibin, he said, who can make the decision? The patient's right leg could not be reattached, and the left leg had to be amputated due to the severity of the injury. If you have no objections, please sign the notice. This, Team Leader Yang, what do you think? Xia Shibin couldn't make the decision, so he waited for Xiao Chen to make the decision. The surgery is over. All the doctors should leave. I will go in by myself. Xia Shibin, you guard the door for me. Xiao Chen said directly. This doesn't comply with the regulations. The doctor was stunned and said, although I know that you may be from the police, but, the doctor saw that Xia Shibin's waist was bulging. It was obvious that he was carrying a gun. This kind of person who dared to carry a gun in public was probably only from the police. Xia Shibin showed his ID. These doctors were knowledgeable and often dealt with people from the special department. They recognized Xia Shibin's ID. They hesitated for a moment and nodded. Okay, I will inform the director. After a while, a middle-aged woman wearing glasses walked quickly and said, let me introduce myself. I am the deputy director on duty at the first hospital. My surname is Fu. I have already arranged it. The doctors in the operating room have all left. Now you can take over. Thank you, Director Fu. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't say much. He asked Xia Shibin to wait at the door, and he entered the operating room alone. The situation in the operating room was terrible. However, Song Huawu actually didn't use anesthesia. At this moment, she was still awake. This made Xiao Chen a little surprised. Similarly, Song Huawu was also a little puzzled. Why did these doctors and nurses leave? Is there no hope for me? It was Song Huawu's own request not to use anesthesia. She was a martial artist, and her endurance was very strong. Naturally, she didn't need that thing. Hearing footsteps, Song Huawu looked and saw that it was actually Xiao Chen. It's you. Song Huawu's voice was a little weak. Can I save my leg? She heard the doctor say it, so although it was difficult to accept at the moment, there was no other way. At this moment, she thought that Xiao Chen came to comfort her. Let me see. Xiao Chen looked at the bloody scene in front of him and frowned. Originally, he thought that he could use his essence to heal others. However, Song Huawu's leg had been blasted off. How was he supposed to heal her? He had never encountered such a situation before. It seemed that there were some places that were missing flesh and bones. Obviously, they were blown up. How could this be treated? It's okay if I see something I shouldn't see, right? Xiao Chen didn't make a move. Instead, he asked. No. Song Huawu shook her head, but her face was slightly red. She knew what Xiao Chen was talking about. Her injury was on her leg, so if Xiao Chen wanted to see it, he would naturally see it too. However, Song Huawu didn't care so much at the moment. She didn't know why Xiao Chen wanted to see it. Xiao Chen opened the list and took a look. However, he didn't feel anything strange, nor did he think about anything he shouldn't. This was because the situation in front of him was extremely bloody. He frowned, but he couldn't think of a good solution. Elder Heaven Ancestor, can I still use my qi to treat this situation? Xiao Chen asked uncertainly. Obviously not. You don't have that ability yet. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, if she was only injured and didn't have a broken limb, it wouldn't be a problem. However, I'm afraid it's not possible now. Then. Xiao Chen's head sank. This wasn't the result he wanted. Although he hadn't known Song Huawu for long, he had a good impression of her. This girl had always helped him. Now that she was in trouble, how could Xiao Chen not help her? Right. As Xiao Chen frowned, he suddenly thought of a situation. Daoist Lu Li was almost killed by Wang Fantian, but he was fine the next day. How did he recover? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen asked directly, Little Demonin. Master, why are you looking for Little Demonin? In the spiritual sense space, Old Demon Fire Wolf asked Xiao Chen with a fawning expression. Lu Li was almost turned into meat paste. How did he recover the next day? Did you treat him? Asked Xiao Chen. He took the fairy water. That fairy water was refined by Tai Shan with a spirit gathering array under my guidance. The effect is very good. Said in Little Demon. Is there anything else? Asked Xiao Chen. Yes, there should be some left, said in Little Demon. Can the broken limb be reattached? Asked Xiao Chen. There is some effect, but the effect may not be as good as Lu Li's. Said in Little Demon. Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief after listening. It didn't matter if the effect was bad. As long as it could be reattached, the rest would be left to his qi. As long as it was reattached, everything would be easy. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen directly dialed Daoist Lu Li's phone number. Lu Li. Xiao Chen said, hurry up and come to the first hospital of Lan City. Bring me the remaining fairy water for your treatment. Hurry up. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing you. Aya, what the F***? When Daoist Lu Li heard Xiao Chang's voice, he subconsciously wanted to curse, but he suddenly thought that Xiao Chang had become martial uncle. He quickly changed his words and said, Martial uncle, please wait a moment. I will go there immediately. Don't worry, I will go on the windfire wheels. Alright, hurry up. Xiao Chen didn't care about Daoist Lu Li's mantra. After hanging up the phone, he saw Song Huawu looking at him in surprise. She said, Xiao Chen, you said that you want Daoist Lu Li to bring you the fairy water? Why is he so obedient to you? Oh. It's a long story. I'll tell you when you're better. Don't talk for now. You just have to bear with it. Xiao Chen said. That's a long story. It's okay. I can endure it, but can I still recover? Song Huawu was a little surprised. Of course. Xiao Chen smiled and said, I am not that Yang Tan. I am Xiao Chen, a superpower user. Okay, I believe you. Song Huawu nodded and was happy. I thought I would never be able to stand up again. That can't be. Xiao Chen shook his head. You wait for me first. I will go and explain to Xia Shibin. Although Song Huawu was in great pain, she knew that she was saved. She was very happy in her heart. Xiao Chen turned around and left the operating room. Xia Shibin saw him and quickly asked, Team leader, how is it? Can Huawu be saved? Daoist Lu Li has the fairy water. She can be saved. Xiao Chen didn't expose his own affairs. Instead, he gave all the credit to Daoist Lu Li's fairy water. He wasn't that close to Xia Shibin. You wait here. When Daoist Lu Li comes, call me. No problem. Xia Shibin nodded, but he was very surprised. Isn't Daoist Lu Li hostile to us? How can he come to deliver medicine? Also, what happened tonight has nothing to do with Tianqing Temple. However, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask these now because Xiao Chen had returned to the operating room. Xiao Chen saw Song Huawu grimacing in pain with a slight smile. He couldn't help but smile. Huawu, my identity is going to be exposed in the future. Will you leave the Supernatural Investigation Bureau with me? I can't. I can't leave here. Song Huawu shook her head. If my affairs are exposed, it will definitely implicate you and Xia Shibin. Xiao Chen said, will you stay here and die? I was an orphan when I was young. The person who adopted me was an instructor in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Although I never saw him again after I grew up and could join the training, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is my home for me. Song Huawu sighed. I won't betray the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Chapter 578. Then why didn't you expose me? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect Song Huawu to have such a background. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau is not a one-man operation. I don't like what Yang Jiannan and Xia Zhili did, so I won't expose you. Song Huawu shook her head. I know that these two people secretly cooperated with each other to fill their pockets. They did this, causing the cultivation resources of ordinary members to decrease. So, I am also very happy that you killed Yang Jiannan. But because of my identity, I can't do it to my colleagues. You are loyal to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chen sighed. It was hard to say whether Song Huawu was stubborn or responsible. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau is like my home. Song Huawu said faintly, it's just like your family. No matter what the family does to you, it is always your family. You can't abandon it. Maybe. Xiaochen didn't comment on this. Families were also different. Although the Xiao family drove him out on the surface, they actually arranged everything secretly. So, Xiaochen had a sense of belonging to the Xiao family, but it didn't mean that Tang also had a sense of belonging to the Tang family. So, I have to stay here unless the Supernatural Investigation Bureau fires me. Song Huawu said, today is the same. I know that I may be injured, but I still stick to the responsibility in my heart. I was ordered to protect the research base, so I will do my best until my death. Xiaochen couldn't understand Song Huawu's mentality. Because he grew up in an environment where he was ridiculed and plotted against, he was full of vigilance against the people around him. Therefore, Xiaochen's character was not that enthusiastic. He would help his friends, but he would not help strangers for no reason. That was because it had nothing to do with him. When he was being mocked and framed, there were no strangers who helped him. Although Xiaochen knew that his character was not very sunny, he didn't care about it. He lived for himself, to find his missing parents, to make his friends and women live a better life, not to be seen by others. Alright, if you have your own ideas, I won't force you. Xiaochen nodded. At this time, his cell phone rang. He took a look and saw that it was Xia Shibin. It was probably Taoist Luli. Xiaochen walked out of the operating room. Sure enough, he saw Taoist Luli standing at the door, panting heavily. Oh my god, I ran so fast. Who's Xiaobai? Xiaochen asked. Ah. Greetings, sure. Young hero. Taoist dearly almost made a slip of the tongue. I'm not talking about anyone. I almost vomited blood while running here as fast as I could. You ran here? Xiaochen was shocked. What kind of speed was this? He had wanted to ask this earlier. It would take 2 hours to drive from the Heavenly Purity Monastery to Lan City, but this Taoist Luli arrived in an hour. Did you really come here on the wind flame wheels? That's not true, but I can run very fast. Have you forgotten? My martial granduncle used to raise a swift as a flying spirit beast, and I was the one in charge of raising it. Taoist dearly thought that martial granduncle might have been in seclusion for too long and forgot about the swift. That fellow, that Xiaobai flew faster than that. I chased it all over the mountain. Oh my god, I'm even faster than the wind flame wheels. Xiaochen was speechless. Old Devil Fire Wolf had a swift? He really didn't know. However, Xiaochen knew about the swift. It was said that there was a type of sharp-tailed swift that flew faster than a sports car, whizzing at more than 300 kilometers per hour. Wouldn't it be even faster if it was a spirit beast? No wonder Taoist dearly was so confident. Alright, where's the immortal water? Xiaochen asked. It's here. Taoist Luli took out a small bottle from his bosom and then sat to the side, panting heavily. Oh my god, that little swallow is flying even faster. I'm so tired that I almost vomited blood. You could have just run by yourself. Why did you chase after that swift? Xiaochen was a little puzzled. If I don't chase after it, I won't be able to run fast. Isn't this the motivation? Taoist Luli said. Xiaochen returned to the operating theater with the divine water. You're back. I'm saved. Song Huawu was pleasantly surprised to see Xiaochen return. Well, bear with it later. Xiaochen said, I'm going to start. Well, it doesn't matter. I can bear it. Song Huawu smiled confidently. Little demonin, how do you use this thing? Xiaochen asked. Master, you just need to apply the immortal water to the affected area and then reattach the severed limb. And Little Demon said, then, use the demonic energy or internal force to inject it into the meridians of the entire leg. It can heal the wound quickly, but the effect depends on the compatibility of the demonic energy or internal force. Just like our heavenly pure monastery, Mount Tai and Dear Li's cultivation methods are similar, so their Taoist internal force is similar. That's why you can see that Dear Li is recovering faster. I see. Xiao Chen thought that in this case, his vitality should be more suitable. In this way, Song Huawu's injury should be no problem. According to An Little Demon's words, Xiao Chen applied the immortal water to Song Huawu's severed limb. Although Song Huawu was in pain, she didn't make a sound. She was obviously a very strong girl. This made Xiao Chen very impressed. He first reattached the severed limb and then applied it to the injured left leg. After that, he prepared to circulate his mental cultivation method and inject primordial energy into Song Huawu. However, Xiao Chen was a little confused. Little Demon, where is the root of the meridians in the leg? Naturally, it's at the root of the thigh, and Little Demon said. What are you saying? Are you saying that I'm ignorant? Xiao Chen snorted coldly. I wouldn't dare. Master, I know that Master is deliberately testing my intelligence. And Little Demon realized that his tone was wrong when he saw that Xiao Chen was angry. He hurriedly begged for mercy, afraid that Xiao Chen would destroy him. Humph. Xiao Chen didn't continue to pay attention to him. His main focus was on Song Huawu. However, the root of the thigh. This made Xiao Chen feel a little awkward. Some private parts could be seen due to the need for treatment, but reaching out to touch was a completely different matter. Other than being good friends, he and Song Huawu had no special relationship. In fact, he could even do it to Tian Suru, but Song Huawu. Although it was healing, the relationship between the two of them would probably be strange. Moreover, was Song Huawu willing? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen was about to ask when Song Huawu asked curiously, Xiao Chen, what's wrong? Why don't you continue? That. Huawu, in the next step, I might touch some places that I shouldn't touch. Xiao Chen hesitated and said. Oh. Song Huawu's face turned red. Although she didn't understand why Xiao Chen wanted to touch there, it wasn't the injured part. Her leg was broken from the middle of her thigh, but she also knew Xiao Chen's character. She knew that Xiao Chen wouldn't take advantage of her at this time for such a reason. Moreover, her lower body was bleeding. Normal people would be scared to death when they saw it. Who would have the mood to take advantage of her? Therefore, Song Huawu said, it's fine. Go ahead. Xiao Chen nodded and took a deep breath. He extended his hands and clasped Song Huawu's seriously injured right leg. Song Huawu's body trembled because Xiao Chen's hand was pressing against her. Just now, Song Huawu didn't even tremble when she was reconnecting her severed leg. But this time, it made her nervous. Xiao Chen also saw Song Huawu's situation. His actions paused, and he knew that it wasn't good for him to press against her. He said with a bitter smile, I'm sorry, it's nothing. Song Huawu shook her head. You are doing it for my own good. I'm not an unreasonable person. Only then did Xiao Chen relax and circulate the mental cultivation method. Song Huawu felt that the pain in her leg wasn't as intense as before. On the contrary, there was a warm and itchy feeling. At this moment, she was completely sure that Xiao Chen wasn't trying to take advantage of her at all. Instead, he was really helping her heal. Song Huawu was extremely grateful. Although she and Xiao Chen were good friends, she knew that devil qi was very important to cultivators for Xiao Chen to help her like this. Xiao Chen was obviously using his own devil qi to heal her. She reckoned that even Yang Tan, who was pursuing her, wouldn't do this at this time. Even if he took advantage of her, he wouldn't agree. Seeing that Song Huawu's wound was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, Xiao Chen also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that his speculation was right. With the effect of the immortal water and the help of his primordial qi, Song Huawu's injury could be healed. Of course, this was also because they had brought Song Huawu's severed limb. Without the severed limb, it would have been impossible for Xiao Chen to create the severed limb out of thin air. Time ticked by and Song Huawu's leg was also healed. Xiao Chen did the same for the other leg, but Song Huawu was clearly not as nervous as before. Xiao Chen, I feel that why were you called trash in the past? With your ability, you don't need to endure anything at all. Song Huawu was a little surprised that Xiao Chen seemed to know everything. In the past, would you believe me if I said that I didn't know anything? Xiao Chen said with a bitter smile, when you first saw me, I didn't hide my strength. In fact, it was that low. I couldn't even beat old demon Shishan. Yes. Song Huawu nodded. Then you are a genius. Xiao Chen didn't say anything. He knew best whether he was a genius or not. If he was placed in the martial cultivation world, he would be a super loser. However, if he was placed in the cultivator world, he might be a genius. The definition of a genius was limited to one field. No one could do everything. Chapter 579. Alright, how do you feel? Xiao Chen felt that Song Huawu's injuries had completely recovered. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, a feeling of exhaustion surged throughout his body. Song Huawu's injuries were particularly serious, so he had consumed a lot of primordial qi. Although he was a cultivator at the 9th level of the qi refinement stage, at this moment, all of his primordial qi had been consumed. The moment he relaxed, he felt a little dizzy. He didn't even have time to let go of Song Huawu before he directly laid down on top of her. And the place where Xiao Chen's head was hanging was right on top of his hand. Ah! Song Huawu was shocked. She thought that Xiao Chen had kissed her because he couldn't help it. She immediately became anxious and embarrassed. Although Xiao Chen was her savior, he couldn't act recklessly. Even if, he had to ask her first. It was one thing to repay him with her body, but it was another thing to ignore him. You. What are you doing? Song Huawu's body was a little stiff. Although she was nervous, there was a strange feeling in her body. It was as if she liked Xiao Chen's behavior very much, but she felt that it should not be like this. However, in the next moment, Song Huawu felt that something was wrong. After Xiao Chen kissed her, there was no reaction, and he did not make any further movements. This made her a little puzzled. She propped herself up with both hands and saw that Xiao Chen's eyes were closed. His face was full of fatigue, and his breathing was even, as if he was asleep. Song Huawu was shocked. She wanted to call Xiao Chen, but she suddenly remembered that he must have spent a lot of physical strength and demonic qi to heal her. So now that he was resting for a while, she did not want to disturb him. Therefore, Song Huawu wanted to wait for Xiao Chen to wake up naturally. However, Xiao Chen's posture was too coquettish, especially his hand, which was still placed there. It made Song Huawu's body involuntarily heat up. In the past, because she was injured and in pain, she didn't think too much about it. But now, Song Huawu couldn't help but think about erotic things. She was also a girl who had never experienced such things. In the past, she had been busy with missions and had never come into contact with men, so she did not feel anything. But now, Song Huawu suddenly realized that she had a feeling of wanting to resist, but also welcoming, which made her a little at a loss. Gradually, Song Huawu fell in love with this feeling, but was she a slut? Why do I like Xiao Chen like this? She was even looking forward to it. Xiao Chen wasn't doing this unintentionally, but intentionally. Song Huawu was shocked by her own thoughts. She quickly shook her head to stop herself from thinking about these trivial things. She began to ponder about today's events. Since Xiao Chen knew Lu Li and it seemed that the two groups had reconciled, the night attack was definitely not the work of Heavenly Purity Monastery. Could it be Kai Lehu and Yorishima Kizuo? That's possible, but when did they have such great strength and firepower? If they did, wouldn't it be better to just rob them? Why would they waste so much effort to kidnap the Su family? This time, Xiao Chen did not completely pass out. He only entered the divine sense space. After entering the divine sense space, Xiao Chen discovered that he could enter the divine sense space as long as he passed out. He did not know whether it was a coincidence or it would always be like this in the future. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what happened to me? Your body's vitality is deficient, so you entered a state of coma. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. After your divine sense space is opened, you can enter whenever you are unconscious or conscious. So that's how it is. Then why didn't I come in before? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Normally, cultivators in the qi refining stage cannot have a primordial spirit, let alone something like a divine sense C. Elder Heaven Ancestor explained. Normally, only cultivators in the foundation establishment stage can form a primordial spirit, and cultivators in the golden core stage can form a divine sense C. Moreover, not all cultivators can do it. However, your situation is a little unexpected. Oh. Why do you say that? Xiao Chen was stunned and asked. Your deep divine sense C was forcefully opened when it was possessed by Xiaoma. Your primordial spirit was also nourished by his aura at the moment of possession and became solid. Elder Heaven Ancestor said. So, I have to thank Xiaoma? Xiao Chen glanced at Xiaoma. Master, I don't dare to take credit. It's just that Master has a great fortune and cultivated the heaven-seizing fortune battle art, so you have a fortune that ordinary people don't have. And Xiaoma quickly said respectfully. N. Xiao Chen nodded and ignored him. Instead, he sat cross-legged in the divine sense C and began to cultivate to restore his vitality. Xiao Chen discovered that he could also cultivate in a state of unconsciousness. This was a good discovery. He slowly recovered his physical strength and vitality. After an unknown amount of time, the moment Xiao Chen was about to wake up, Xiao Chen suddenly felt the vitality in his meridians become violent at this moment. Then, with a bang, Xiao Chen returned to reality from the divine sense space. He broke through the peak of the 9th level of the qi refinement stage. This breakthrough came too suddenly, but it was not unexpected. This was because Xiao Chen had waited for too long and had not broken through during this period of time. He did not expect that he would suddenly break through after treating Song Huawu's injuries and exhausting his energy. However, this made Xiao Chen a little surprised. In the past, although he had broken through when his physical strength was at its limit, it was only after the battle that he comprehended some opportunities and coincidentally broke through. But now, he had broken through simply by exhausting his physical strength and vitality. It was reasonable to say that it was somewhat impossible. Previously, when he was refining in Xiaoma, he had almost used all his strength. However, no matter the reason, Xiao Chen was happy. This way, he was one step closer to the 10th level of the qi refinement realm. After that was the foundation establishment realm. As long as he entered the foundation establishment realm, he could use sword kinesis flight and do many things that he could not do before. After waking up, Xiao Chen felt strange. He seemed to be lying on something. And there was a warm feeling. The next moment, Xiao Chen was shocked. He raised his head and let go of his hand, a little embarrassed. Just now, when he was unconscious, he had been lying under Song Huawu's body. What was going on? Song Huawu did not wake him up. This time, he was really a little embarrassed. In particular, there was some crystalline unknown liquid hanging on his hand and mouth. This made Xiao Chen even more speechless. What did I do just now? He was unconscious and could not feel the situation outside at all. That. Huawu, I'm sorry, Xiao Chen looked at the thing in his hand and the corner of his mouth. He did not know whether to wipe it clean or not. Wiping it, it seemed like he was despising Song Huawu. Would she be embarrassed? If he did not wipe it, Xiao Chen would be embarrassed. Song Huawu looked at Xiao Chen and her face suddenly turned red. No. It's okay. You're too tired, that's why. Hurry up and take a bath. I didn't do it on purpose. Okay, I'll help you wash up too. Xiao Chen looked at the bloodstains under Song Huawu. At this moment, her legs had already recovered, but the bloodstains were still there. I'll go by myself. Song Huawu quickly said. There's no place to bathe in the operating theater. If you simply wipe it, it might not be clean. As Xiao Chen said this, he directly activated a water ball and placed it on Song Huawu's body. He said, I will let the water ball slowly break and let it fall into the water. You can wash it, and I'll turn around and not look at you. Ah. Song Hwawu was completely shocked. She was not as shocked as she was now when she saw Xiao Qin activate the fireball and the ice ball martial arts skills. Xiao Qin could actually activate a water ball and let it float in the air without breaking. He could even bathe her. What kind of powerful ability was this? Song Hwawu quickly got up. Her body was indeed covered in bloodstains. In addition, her lower body was sticky and very uncomfortable. She was also sweating all over, so naturally, Song Hwawu wanted to wash herself clean. She saw that Xiao Qin was about to turn around, so she said, "Actually, you don't have to turn around. It's fine even if you look at me." Song Hwawu did not know if she was psychopathic to say this. She was shocked when she said it. Did she like to be looked at by Xiao Qin? Forget it. I'm only looking at the bottom now. If I look at the top, won't I have to take responsibility? Xiao Qin saw that after Song Hwawu finished speaking, she was stunned and at a loss. He knew that she had made a slip of the tongue and was a little embarrassed, so he teased her. Now you have to take responsibility too. Song Hwawu was amused. No way. Xiao Qin was stunned. I'm your subordinate. Shouldn't you be responsible for protecting me and standing up for me? Song Hwawu said with a smile. That's for sure. Xiao Qin was stunned for a moment before he heaved a sigh of relief. Song Hwawu took off her clothes. Xiao Qin turned around and slowly controlled the water ball to sprinkle water bit by bit. Song Hwawu found that there was nothing wrong with her legs. They had regained their previous flexibility. However, when she was bathing, she wanted Xiao Qin to peek at her. However, she also knew that Xiao Qin was a gentleman and wouldn't do that. Thinking of this, Song Hwawu suddenly felt that she was a pervert. Are girls also perverted? Song Hwawu also knew that it was impossible between her and Xiao Qin. Never mind that Xiao Qin had a girlfriend. Even if he didn't, Xiao Qin would eventually be irreconcilable with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Yang Tan's matter would eventually be exposed. As long as Xia Zhili was still alive, Xiao Qin couldn't have a peaceful day. Yang Jianan was one of Xia Zhili's generals. It was very convenient for him to associate with him. Now that he was gone, Xia Zhili would definitely be furious. With a sigh, Song Hwawu finished bathing. She put on a hospital gown on a rack not far away and then said to Xiao Qin, "Okay, you can turn around. I'm done bathing." However, when she said this, Song Hwawu didn't know why she subconsciously slowed down the pace of buttoning her chest. Is she trying to seduce Xiao Qin? She didn't know what she wanted to do. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.